Okay. Hi, Freddie. This is the virtual meeting of the Southborough Stewardship Committee, and I'm calling the meeting to order with a roll call. Jenny,
Here.
Kat,
Present.
Isabella,
Here.
Bella,
Hi, sorry, my headphones weren't working there for a second. I couldn't hear you guys.
okay.
But
Just
here.
doing the roll call, so we know you're there, Bella, and Freddie.
You're in mute.
Freddie's muted.
I'm here, but I may
Oh.
mute on and off throughout the night.
Okay. So we have quorum, and our first order of business is to approve the minutes, which thank you for sending those around, Jenny. Did anyone have any edits or corrections on the minutes?
The only thing that I did is regarding an email that you forwarded to
Oh,
me. And
Isabel,
that's, yeah,
Isabel, this isn't the part where we're talking about community gardens yet, so we'll call on you when we get to
Oh.
that agenda item.
okay.
We're
okay,
just approving our minutes.
Okay,
So
okay.
we got
okay,
some committee business, so,
Okay, I'll
um,
sit tight and learn from you guys.
okay, thank you. And anyone had any comments or corrections on the minutes that Jenny sent around?
Can I have a quick minute? Sorry.
Yep.
Did those come out today?
No, it
Last
was
week.
last week.
I make a suggestion on number 2, when we say woman who's licensed falconer,
Mhm.
maybe add her name.
Oh, yep, sure, yes. So I just
Yeah.
found that out. So it is Olivia Tosi, right? Tosi?
Correct.
Okay.
And she may show up in the waiting room. Melissa Danza sent her the link this morning.
I'm sorry, just give me a second.
One other suggestion, I don't know how important this is, but with the votes, oftentimes I've seen minutes reflected as like 4-0 if all were in favor, or 5-0.
Okay.
And then the roll call, like you have it here. So I don't know
Okay.
if Joyce or Freddie, you have a preference on how minutes are reflected in that way, on whether votes should be reflected in a number format, or if it matters to
I
anything.
feel like I feel like it matters if there's a split, but I don't know if it matters if there isn't.
Okay, so I would say 4-0 or 4-1 or yeah, 4-1 in favor.
Yeah, I think that's how I would
Okay.
see it.
And then for the ones that are unanimous, we're okay with just saying all in favor.
I'm
Is that
okay.
what I'm hearing?
I think that's all right. Yeah.
Okay.
It might sound petty, small, but under number 2,
Mm-hmm.
second paragraph,
Mm-hmm.
the woman, did you already say to put her name in instead of the woman? But
I did add, I did just add it above.
okay, so then you could say she, but I would say was expected instead of was supposed to be at the meeting.
The woman was expecting, okay,
Expected, not ing.
expecting to be at the meeting.
Expected, ed.
Expected. Okay,
I think that's just, she wasn't supposed to be there. We expected her, but,
okay.
She was invited. Yeah.
or yeah, I don't know if Freddie not in favor, would that be opposed? Or is not
Opposed,
in
yes.
favor?
That's the same thing.
Yeah, is it the same thing? Is that how it's written? Okay. All right.
Anyone
Oh.
else have corrections or edits? Okay, can I have,
Go ahead. Sorry. No.
And
have a
Kat
motion?
already sent me the file, so then I will unhighlight that part.
What part?
Oh, number 3. I know I'll have to look through my email, but Kat already sent me the attachment to submit with the minutes with the sign examples.
Oh, I didn't see anything highlighted. Okay. I make a motion to accept the minutes as amended for January 13th, 2022.
do I have a
Second.
second?
I'll second. Kat.
All in
Who is
favor?
that?
I'll second. Kat seconds.
Kat, okay.
Okay, all in favor, Jenny,
I'm in favor.
Kat,
In favor.
Bella,
In favor.
Freddie,
In favor?
and I'm in favor. The motion passes.
One note for the current minutes, Jenny,
Mhm.
Sam Stivers is a visitor.
Oh, okay,
I usually put visitors and attendees.
okay.
Okay, so has Olivia come forward or showed up?
I
Okay,
do not have another attendee.
I don't know if she's gonna be able to make it, and just on this item, as a reminder, we did, and you know, because you just are looking at the minutes, I had sent her the conditions that she was allowed to take her juvenile Red Hawk there. And I had sent those the day after, or maybe even the evening of our meeting. And it said not to extend beyond April 1st, or when the first ground nesting birds start to arrive, and or until she's able to come to the stewardship meeting and answer our further questions. So maybe if she shows up later, we can revisit that item, but, oh, and we did request a copy of her license. To my knowledge, like, I have not received it, so I'm thinking unless Melissa has and I haven't, so. All right, let's go
Can I-
on.
Before you move on, can we be clear on that? Was she supposed to submit the license before she brought the Falcon to? or the
Yes.
Hawk?
Yeah,
And we
that
haven't
was what
received
the
that.
yeah, so I don't think she's been doing it. Yeah, she hasn't, to my knowledge, she has not brought the juvenile Red Hawk to Breakneck Hill.
But we don't have the license, so she shouldn't be anyhow.
I don't have it, right. And unless Melissa has it and I'm not aware, so,
Or did you ask her to send it to?
which we asked her to send it to both of us. But you know, it's easy sometimes to forget to CC somebody, so,
Yeah, it is.
having done it myself.
Yep.
All right, so now we have the item on community gardens. And we have Isabel Kerber, community garden coordinator, with us to discuss some items around the community gardens. And first off, thanks, Isabel, for being here and for everything you do that makes such a wonderful experience for the town of Southborough and the gardeners who rely on that space to enjoy their vegetable gardening with other like-minded gardeners. So I thought we could just start, maybe, Isabel, and hear from you about what went well in community gardens that last season, you know, any highlights that you want to share.
Sure. What I believe went well is the way we start the garden up, because last year was my 3rd year as a community garden coordinator, and I have an assistant community garden coordinator, Jane. And she's been very helpful, and her responsibility is to organize and get support from other gardeners to start the garden, you know, basically go in and get everyone and assign responsibilities of who's supposed to be doing what. And before Jane starts that up, Raleigh and I, my husband, what we do is that we set up the perimeters of the garden and we allocate the size of the plot. So since 3 years ago, we have only one size. And we've been charging, I requested $50 because it takes a lot of resources and money to be able to maintain it, and then I was hearing 3 years ago, people complaining that we don't have fresh loam and this and that. So that's the, number one, that we already have it organized. Jane comes in with the folks and they lay out the water for us with the hoses and everything else, which is really challenging and very heavy work, but everybody's, helped us out and we get that done in about, 1 day. Sometimes it be two afternoons or 2 mornings. And the folks are the ones that have been helping us for the last 3 years. They're basically experts, so they do that.
Well,
And
that's wonderful.
and then in the fall, last year I was able to have enough funds that we were able to get some soil for the garden, because it was really, it was basically very dry and didn't have any much fresh soil and mulch. So that really helped, and that took all the resources, all the money that I had saved, for the past 2 years, and everyone seemed to be happy with that. And now from what I heard last fall is that they are hoping that this year, I'll be able to add some more loam to the garden. So I said, well, I have to take a look at it because, we might have other areas that need to be prioritized.
Okay.
And as far as, during the fall, also, we were very fortunate that one of our gardeners has a tractor, Steve, and he lives in Woodland Road, and he volunteered to take the loam and spread it out and just help the garden. And in the fall, he did the same thing. And as I said to Joyce, couple of times last year, is that we saved like over $2,000, because about 3 years ago I had to hire someone from New Hampshire because it was impossible to get someone to come here, and we paid like over $1,000, like $1,200 just for him to go in and turn the soil. So we are fortunate that Steve is here, and as far as I know, he's going to be helping us out. And as for in the fall, it was a little challenging. We did have volunteers, but the people that volunteer in the springtime, they do their job, but we might need just maybe a couple more people to help us out taking the hoses that unfortunately sometimes they get buried underneath, underneath the weeds.
Yeah.
And that is something that I think for this year, I just like to make it very clear when I send the form for everyone to sign it, to make sure everyone weeds their side where everyone walks. So it won't be so challenging trying to pull those hoses. So that is something that I will say that we need some more help, and make sure everyone does their job in that regards, because we're all adults and cannot be babysitting everyone.
Okay. I want to also acknowledge that we did have some difficulty with one gardener last year. You'll remember.
Yes.
Isabel, who was gardening in sort of the perimeter areas and setting up, and I wanted to acknowledge and thank you for bringing that to my attention and working with me in what I think ultimately was a resolution. I don't think we'll have that problem again this coming season. So, and you know, in the last couple of years, we did do a pretty major overhaul of what the gardeners are required to sign, with one big change being the end of season inspection of plots. As you know, we were all concerned, and I know you shared this concern, with some of the detritus and trash and plastic left behind on the plots, then without, and then our concern being that it get churned into the soil when more soil came. So we weren't really able to pull off the inspection this year as I intended, because I had to be out of state, but I'm hoping that that will work a little more smoothly next year. And I'll be able to be around and coordinate with you, Isabel, because I don't think we were contemplating any big changes to the rules this round. You had mentioned you wanted to point out the hoses, but just wanted to check in on that.
Yeah, and actually this year, you know, in that area that you mentioned, Steve came and he volunteered with his dad, and he came with me, and we went through each plot, making sure that they did what they were supposed to do. And I sent an email, and there were 4 gardeners that, you know, they were kind of, you know, they left their fences, and that's, but I, you know, I touched base with them, and there was only one that actually left the stakes, the steel stakes. So Steve's father helped me out. He pulled them out, and then, you know, what we did is that we put it by the side, by the rocks. And I sent an email to everyone, including the person that did not pull the stakes. And I say, you know, here it is, you know, make sure you clean it up. But he never came back. And I don't know whether he was out of town, but, you know, finally, and by that time, Steve's dad did not want it to be left there because someone could get hurt. So he just took it along with all other stuff that needed to be taken to the transfer station. And he took it and put it on the area where you put in the metal.
Yeah, so I appreciate that others stepped up to look at the plots, but I do want to be clear that for the coming season, we do intend as stewards to be able to fulfill that role of looking at the plots. And I know that with the updated rule, it's my understanding, it's your intent that those who didn't clear their plots will not be eligible for a plot in the coming season. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And it's only this person that, you know, I
Okay.
will forward that the
right.
name. The name is only one person, but it'd be interesting, you know, when I send the email to everyone and I do not include that person's name. And the other question that I had for you, since he knows that he didn't comply, should I, as a courtesy, send an email privately to him and acknowledge that I will not be assigned, he will not be assigned a plot? How should I handle that?
I'd recommend, if I may, this is Freddie speaking, just don't send him anything, and then if he contacts you, then you can tell him why he won't be. I don't think you, if you emailed him to clean it out and he didn't do it, then I think you're just polite and, you know, professional. And if he contacts, he wants a site, you can say, well, you didn't comply with your agreement. So no.
Oh, all right.
I don't think you need to take an extra step. Other committee members can weigh in, but I don't think that's on you, Isabel.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that's a fine way to handle it. And I also want to just be clear that for next year, Now, if Steve is bringing in his tractor, I'm sorry that Melissa isn't here because she would for sure know the answer. Does he have to have the same sort of insurance policy that others that come work on conservation have?
Well, from what I know is that it was the legal team approved him and gave him for like about several years, about 4 or 5 years or something.
Okay,
He had to sign that commitment saying that he's responsible and that the town is not responsible if something happens to his equipment. And he
Yeah.
acknowledged and he signed it. And that's why when I needed him to plow again during the fall, and I checked with so it, I got a response from legal saying that no, that it was already covered.
okay.
for
And I
him.
think it's for these kind of things that stewardship is requesting a heads up on before these kind of big things like that the ground is churned up or loam brought in. Like we want to know and approve those in advance. So I think that's one improvement we could make in our communication for next season, is being in closer contact on those kind of things.
Sure, that will be fine, because the only person that I have ever talked regarding bringing loan is with Melissa, because I coordinate with her because she has the funds, and if we don't have the funds, it's mute. We don't have it. And now since we're talking about it, some gardeners, now they are thinking that, oh, we have some money and let's start doing it every single year. But, there's other requirements, like we're going to be needing to purchase new hoses because some of them are really old.
Right.
Yeah. And then some other items that, I did mention to you about the deer, how to handle that. Because, it's even Freddie had mentioned to me that the deer go into her garden and they help themselves.
Yeah, the deer are a problem there. I agree, both for ecology and for the gardeners. And I don't know what a good solution is and what kind of fencing, because would that fencing run all the length also of the parking lot with then some sort of gate to allow gardeners and tractors and delivery and trucks in? I mean, how would you, what's your vision of that deer fencing? And I invite the stewards to ask questions as well.
Yeah, what I was thinking of, it will be something like what I heard and what I started investigating, it's having like a solar, but sort of having certain stakes, major stakes, and then and then having some other stakes where you can put in, attach the solar lenses, the cameras, that will absorb it, and hopefully, that will work. However, that is something that is going to have to be installed every single year. Just put it in the garden. We probably might need, in every corner. I mean, not every corner of every single plot, but the major ones. I was envisioning it like that. And
On the perimeter. You mean on the perimeter?
On the perimeter, yes. Sort of like a square, maybe, maybe 6. Have 2 on each perimeter and 1 in the, on each side. But I will have
Can I
more
interrupt?
investigation.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I think it would be better to discuss this with a diagram, because I'm really not envisioning this, and I think it might be another meeting to do this. Also, Chris Paladin had talked to me about what they're using out on his farm and other land he works. Chris is our consultant on invasives and other land management, and he actually is using some fencing, and it looked very similar what he described to me, what they're using at Chestnut Hill Farm. So, and I think what you're talking about, Isabel, is solar powered electric fences like we used to have there with the cows.
Yeah, well, theirs, it was more electric, because I remember Ray Davis used to have the electric, and there were a couple of times that when I was cleaning something, I kind of like pump into the wires and then I got shocked a little bit.
Right. Solar powered electric fences is what I said. And that's what Chris Politan recommended, but with deer, you have to have something different because they can jump really high. And what he described was something like a double wired situation, which I don't know that most of it would come down. I don't know why we would take it down, but some of it might. But there would also be the issue, what Joyce was talking about, is how do you get in there if you've got the fencing up? Or do you take one side down and do the turning over? And then how do the people get in? One gate for everyone to go in and out. It becomes a little bit complicated. So I think it's a discussion that we need to look into how to do it and then plan so we can see what it would, what it would entail. That makes
Yes,
sense.
no, yeah, I agree with you. And that's what I was trying, checking out different vendors. But I was going to ask you if you could forward me the name of, the contact, that one that you were talking to. And I was thinking also of stopping by at the Chestnut Hill and ask them, how they manage their farms, because they have, a large farm, and I'm sure that they have a way of managing, because
Yeah, Isabel, I think it would be something best to collaborate with maybe Joyce with your investigation, so you're not going down a road and spending time investigating something that wouldn't be,
We can do that. Isabel, I'm
doing it
happy to do
together.
that. Yeah.
Oh,
we can-
yes, definitely. I will keep both of you in the loop. I will never go all by myself, but I will just check and I will forward. I say, take a look at this proposal, take a look at these thoughts, and
Thank you.
definitely, I will not do it on my own.
Yeah.
And yes, and we have to be careful because we're going to need Steve to come in and with his tractor.
Well, right. And there could be other, other reasons for
Yes.
some big equipment to get on from time to time. So, and that can, any kind of fencing there could also benefit ecology. So, Isabel, you and I can work on that together. Let's see if we can. I wanted to mention that the stewards are working on storage for ecology, so that will relieve some of the pressure on community gardens that with ecology's equipment kind of crowding the shed. So we're hoping to resolve that.
Can I jump in? It's not just for ecology, it's for storage for a lot of
Yes.
tools we use throughout the 100-acre parcel property.
Yeah, that's a better descriptor of it, because I'm always trying to remember to bring.
Not that ecology doesn't have a lot of stuff, but
Right,
there's a lot of other tools.
right. But we could put our clippers and other things in that we use when we're on the property, and our marking ribbons and things. So we think that will be something to look forward to in the next season. The last thing I wanted to make sure that we talked about, unless any of the stewards want to bring up other things, is that strip of space between the last measured plot and the start of ecology, which last year we had mowed, it got mowed maybe a little bit, but it becomes a lot of weed pressure there, and ecology could use more space. So we're happy to expand that, or split the difference if you wanted to make, use some of it and give up, and then we could take some of it. So let's talk about that space, which I think over the course of the summer we discussed, and there was some, or maybe late in the season, was some comfort with ecology taking some of that on.
Yes, definitely. I think maybe we should, the three of us, right now the weather is wet, it's winter and it'd be hard, but maybe in early spring when the soil kind of dries up a little bit before we start staking and everything, let's take a walk and let's stake and let's walk through it. And I know Freddie, that you put in a tarp, and it's only part of it. And I was thinking maybe we should extend it the whole length, like the other part of your garden in ecology, and just extend it. And it'd be easier because when Steve does the mowing, I think it'd be easier for him to mow the whole length, you know? And
So- Sorry, I thought you were done. Can I jump in?
sure,
So a couple of things that the expansion of ecology came up only because Isabel came to me and said they weren't using it. And then what happened is we would have a huge pile of weeds. She said we could use it. And the point we need to know is exactly how far moving forward, because if we start doing something there, it won't be able to be given back. Right now it could, you know, whatever. So the point is, however much the community gardens want, my understanding is that area is not used as much. It's not desirable because it does get awfully wet for some people. And whatever amount or not, we just want a defined line, because if it doesn't get, how do I put this? If community gardens doesn't use the whole amount, it turns to weeds that we then have to make sure aren't going everywhere. So, and if there's just fallow land, we just as soon use it, because we do have, we would be able to utilize it for our efforts, but we want to make sure that, I want to be sure that everyone knows that it's the community gardens to say how much they want or don't want. It's not us asking for more, but if there's some to be had, we will gratefully utilize it, right?
oh, okay, no, I
And the
understand.
plastic is just, it was, we had the plastic from another project. We thought it might help keep the weeds down. I just went there today. I don't know if somebody, you know, I don't know how heavy rocks and hoses got taken off it so that it's crumpled up, but it did, and I couldn't move it all myself. So that will, the plastic will be taken off at some point sooner rather than later after the snow melts.
So
I think.
maybe we were planning to schedule a site visit there anyway. So when the snow is melted, we can schedule a site visit for the stewards and Isabel and walk that strip in particular and make some decisions. And that might be a good time also to kind of use our time there envisioning what that deer fencing might be. And perhaps we'll have a meeting between now and then anyway, where we'll have more progress to report on that, because a lot of snow's coming and it probably won't disappear that quick.
Yes, no, I agree. And that's a great idea, because we're going to be walking around for the fence and everything. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Yes.
I have another topic, which
Oh,
is,
great. Okay, Freddie.
it's not, I just spent 2 days at a conference for eco landscaping, and the last workshop I went on was expert scientists from other states where it started, and also some experts from Massachusetts. And the topic is jumping worms. And the situation is they come in on soil and compost. And we may not be in a position to take any new soil this year. I think it needs to be discussed. The infestation is not insignificant, the harm it does. And you don't, you know, I'm concerned about putting plants in at Breakneck Hill beyond seeding. They're talking it in the Midwest. I forget which state it was, but where they first had the heavy infestation. It's wiping out forest. It's wiping out all the plant material. It is not insignificant. They don't have an answer. They're asking people to have all equipment that comes on be power washed. People have to scrape the boot scrapers. I don't know how I just had an anxiety attack, because you're not going to get everyone who comes to Breakneck Hill to scrape their boots, right? And the fact is, we're hearing more and more people have them in their yards. But the other thing they said is just to ignore it, even though it's widespread, is not the answer. So I'm not saying, yes, we shouldn't do anything. I'm just saying, I think we need to delve into it a little bit before any plans to bring any large scale loam and compost into the site. And I'm not saying that you can't do that, Isabel. I mean, I'm only one member, of course, anyhow, But I'm not saying that that would be the recommendation, but I think it's serious enough from what I heard from these scientists that we need to do some investigation.
Yeah, I agree with you. And matter of fact, I remember you mentioned it last year. And what I did is that after our conversation, I immediately called McIntyre because we get the soil from them. And also the town has been working with McIntyre for the last 15 or 20 years. That's what Melissa said to me. And one of the reasons we were able to work with them is because they already have set up an account with them. So the money transfer and everything, it's already set up. So I talked to them, and McIntyre confirmed to me that their soil, before they take it, bring it to the town, not just for our community garden, it's checked for worms and everything else, because they they have large contracts throughout the Massachusetts and other states, and to say they cannot afford to have any type of worms or anything that can damage the
So
garden.
what I heard from these top officials, and these are, in academia, and, there are people with PhDs working on this, and they're working with the federal government and state agencies in this, I forget which state it was, but nobody's willing to guarantee no worms. They're actually even looking for that to have, this is in compost or in topsoil. The size of the cocoons are the size of a peppercorn. You can't even see them. So there's really, I'm not saying that they don't do their best, but so I spent like 2 hours in a workshop today, and they're saying there's, even if you're making compost and you do it professionally, like you can't take anything from like the town compost heap or anything like that anymore. They're saying, if it's with thermometers and they bring it to a certain temperature, it might kill them. But then what happens is what's at the edge doesn't have the right temperatures, and then they can come in. It's just, this is, if anyone hasn't been there, if you're on Facebook, go to the Jumping Worms Facebook group. It's but don't go there before you go to bed, because it's something worse than a horror film of what's happening here. So this is not I'm not trying to be overly alarmist, because I don't know what the real answer is, because I've had some people say, well, they're everywhere, so just learn to live with them. But then you have to see what the landscape looks like after an infestation. And I think they're newerly getting to this area, although there have been some, but I know they're looking, and somebody found them next to South Union School in the woods, not near a garden. So these travel too. Somebody described them as, in a rainy night, marching down the road. It's like,
Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry. I'm not kidding about the nightmares. So
Okay.
all I'm saying, Isabel, is let's look at it before you make a decision, so that you have, and discuss it with, the Stewardship Committee and Melissa, and get some more information on if it's wise, because I certainly don't want to be introducing an infestation of jumping worms to the conservation land.
Yeah, I think that's, I'm so glad that you raised that, Freddie, because I have had it in my garden, and yeah, I share plants all the time from my garden. So I've probably spread it around unintentionally. So that just reinforces, Isabel, the importance of the open and regular communication and the check-ins before, with stewardship, before bringing in any kind of soil or anything. Did anyone else have any
Well,
topic?
just to finish that,
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay.
I don't think there should be any loan brought in till we come to a consensus, or compost. No materials brought in, and it might be too late already. And I'm not saying not to do it, but I think we need to have more information before we say that's an allowed use. Do you understand that, Isabel? It's
Yes,
no,
definitely. Yes,
no,
and as I say, I will touch base with you because what I ordered the compost and the loam, it was early in the year. And I was not aware of anything. And that was like about a couple of months later when you mentioned it to me. And also now that we're in the subject, a lot of the gardeners go to Home Depot and will go to these other places and they bring in their Miracle Grow and their cows, some of them, the ones that you buy. Now, how do you want to address that? How do you want to, is that something that we are going to continue to allow them to bring their own soil that they purchase? So in most of them is all organic. I know I brought some a couple of years ago for my plot that it was, it really needed it, and it was 100% organic, and it wasn't cheap. It's very expensive. So since we're in this subject, perhaps you might be able to help and give guidance. Do you want to have a list of what gardeners will be allowed to bring into the plots?
It's a good idea. I think that at this point, we're saying no soil, no big deliveries of loam. Freddie, was there any insights from these sessions you went to in terms of the bagged soil that gardeners
from the-
might bring in?
this was on large scale, so we weren't talking about the bags so much, but I do know when we were looking at it for our winter sow, I did a little digging into it, and even bags you buy, if they've been ripped, it's just, I mean, it's a nightmare. If a bag is, it's like, there's no guarantee that they, so, and I don't see that we can police everything, and I don't think you can tell, I don't know. I think maybe we have a little time before the season starts, right? Maybe we do a little more investigation into what we can and should do and find contact the state. Maybe it's not the state, it's through U of Mass, I think, that has an agency working on it, some scientists working on it. There is nothing, and I'll say this came out of it. First of all, there is no treatment that is allowed to be used against them. So any of the chemical or whatever, they're not approved, and that means you can't use them legally, right? If it's not in when you look at pesticides, they're thinking, maybe some of those things would work, but they have to say what they're approved for. And if it's not an approved use, that came out clear today, you can't use it. I mean, nobody's going to see what you're doing in your own yard really, but we can't allow it on the conservation land. And the other thing they talked about was something like vinegar and salt or something, but it doesn't just kill the worms, it kills everything, and it kills the soil health, and it kills the plants. So we're really stuck, and they are looking at what they can use to combat this, but maybe they'll have something in a few years. I don't know, or maybe we just have to look how to live with it.
Yeah, we have to be prudent then in how we proceed. So certainly no big deliveries, and then more research before any decisions about bagged soil. So Isabel, let's plan on having you back at a future stewardship meeting for maybe before and or after the site visit, so we can make further progress on that.
Can
Are
she
there
tell
other
us,
things?
I'm sorry to keep going, but can she tell us when, Isabel, would you normally bring that in so we know that that's a deadline to have a decision?
Oh, so, right now, it all depends on how much funds I have. And last year, I basically used the funds for that I had saved for about almost a year and a half to be able to bring that soil. But right now, if we're going to be talking about having solar panels and a fence, I don't foresee being able to get any more loan.
When would you, if you would
because
do
it's
it?
like $1,200, $1,400, and that takes everything. And if we are talking about putting some fences and everything, it's going to be probably more than $1,200, and that'll be something, another subject that we'll have to, discuss if we need more money. You know what I mean?
Right, but
For
when,
the fences.
whether you do it or not, if you were to do it, when would you do it?
Well,
Right?
it will be have
Pretend
to
you,
be
pretend you
in
had,
the
money
spring.
wasn't an issue.
Yeah, it will be in the spring, but for this year, why don't we just take it off the table and say I will not be bringing any loan this year?
Okay,
Because it's basically on what I have, and I cannot do both. We cannot work on the fence, and that's going to be expensive, and also on the loan. And the loan the one that I got last year, that was sufficient. And as I say, Steve has really helped us out with turning the soil, the soil. So for at least this year, and maybe even next year, I think we're fine. The only question that, again, I want to ask both of you is that, as I said, some of the gardeners bring their own soil, like, as I say, the cow manure that they buy it in bags, and also the Miracle Grow, and then the other ones that they sell. So I just want to make sure we get a clear direction from both of you before we start the garden, so I can put that in the form that the gardeners will sign. Make it very clear that, say, perhaps, maybe this year you're not allowed to, or yes, if you need to bring soil, this will have to be only from these manufacturers that are approved by the stewards and the conservation.
okay.
It's something like that.
When do you usually send out those rules? When is that usually April, sometime in?
Yeah, April or May. Yeah, it has to be in April. I'll have to take a look at it. It's in our
Okay.
website. So I think I'll be sending it in April, because it gives the people 4 weeks, because we usually open the garden on Memorial Day weekend.
Right. Okay, so I would say,
That's giving us a month deadline, which is good to know.
yeah, that's what we
So
need.
that
to
will
know.
go
So
by fast.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's helpful to us to know. Thank you so much. Are there other topics with community gardens that other stewards want to raise, or more things from you, Freddie?
No, that was the big one, and just happened to be on my radar because I was sitting there today freaking out.
I can imagine. I remember when you first mentioned it, I sort of like, oh my God.
Well, we know people that have infestations, which is, I'm not going over her yard. Oh, they say have your own special pair of shoes that you take
Yeah.
off before you leave your house, your yard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. So anyhow, they're having therapy groups for these people, support groups.
It's bad enough. It's bad enough with COVID.
I know.
Yeah. All right.
anyhow,
Well,
So thank you, Isabel, for your input. I appreciate this conversation.
yeah,
No,
thank
you're
you so
accepting of-
much, Isabel, for joining us. And we will schedule a site visit when the snow is gone, and coordinate that with you. And you and I can begin working on some fencing ideas.
Oh, that will be great. Linda, I appreciate your support, because
Well, we
one
appreciate
person
all
cannot
you've
do it
done.
all.
Yeah, we appreciate all you've done at Community Gardens, so thank you. And we're so glad that you have some support with some volunteers and with your assistant Jane, who helped me one time move some stuff. So I appreciate, I remember meeting her. So we're going to proceed with our agenda, Isabel, and thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm gonna be logging off, correct?
Okay then,
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
bye,
Thank you, Freddie. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
All right. Signs and rules and dog litter. Kat, are you leading this part?
Yes, I can. So I think this can go fairly quickly in a kind of a part 1, part 2 thing. Let me just get the right screen that I want to share. Okay, so let me know, you should be seeing a map now, but I want to switch to that. Can you see a green sign?
Not yet.
Oh, maybe I have to hit share.
Oh, maybe I need to change my view.
No, I don't think I hit share.
Oh, yep, I see it.
Okay, so you see the green?
Yep.
Great. Okay, so everyone, we went through this last time. So this is, we just made some minor changes based on the recommendations. Yeah. So I think we just want a final approval, and we get a final approval today, then we can go to print and get these put up. There is a budget question I would have, but let's focus on the text, and if anyone had any additional add-ons or thoughts about this sign. And this sign specifically is the dog sign that says, obviously you're reading it, so you know what it says.
Yeah, I see that it reflects the change we talked about last time, I think.
Maybe it's the way you're sharing your screen.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't see the bottom of it.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I just zoomed out.
So had we agreed that for the full set of rules or for questions, please contact the Southborough Stewardship Committee? I know this is really final, Kat, so that's what we already discussed and said.
Yeah, I think we initially had, yes, so we did talk about having that as a contact, unless you prefer it go directly to conservation, I guess is that the specific question, Freddie?
No, I'm just,
Okay.
it says, it gives our website. Does the website give your email? Joyce?
Yes,
Does
yeah,
it give all of our emails?
yes.
So this, I mean, I guess that's good. I don't think anyone's gonna, it gives a way for people to contact us. I guess that's good.
Yeah.
Where does the QR code go?
Thank you. I was just about to bring it to our attention. So the QR code would go to it. We have two options. It can go directly to the rules page, or it could go to the website, the general page, and they can poke around to get it. But I thought it might make sense to go to the rules page. So
If you go to the rules page, can you get to our page from there?
well, yes. So it's on the let me just see something.
Have you ever gotten lost where you go one place and then you can't get to the full site?
Yeah, so
Stuck.
I apologize. I've lost the meeting controls. I have 3 screens and I can't find them. I don't know where they are. Oh,
Are
there.
they up there on the mountain with you?
I really don't know. Meeting controls are, oh, wow, that's weird. Okay, so I'm going to stop share and share a new screen. Sorry, I don't think it's as easy. It shouldn't be this hard. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you should be seeing our website.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to back up just a minute. This is the landing page that you see, the Stewardship Committee list. And if you click on these links, you'll find the email addresses for the people.
Yeah.
Okay, so and on the left-hand side, the navigation here, we have a breakdown of a few different pages. So we have one called Breakneck Hill Conservation Land. So I clicked on that. And then this is where I had asked Melissa to put the full rules. And this is for a topic of discussion. So don't worry if you don't see something you want to see here. We can edit it. So this, before it just had the list of attachments at the top, but I thought that it might make sense to have them out viewed just on the page without having to click, because not everyone's going to click, but
Right.
they are also listed down below. So the QR code, I think for this sign should go directly to this page, but I'd like to hear what the committee thinks.
I like that because the menu is still on the side of that page.
Yep, that's what I wanted to know.
So I think that that's perfect.
Okay, great. One thing I realized that was in a note somewhere. We don't have on this list of rules, no guns or archery. And that was something I think that was specifically, it was in the minutes. It was specifically noted. So we need to add that, but I have a question. Should it be no guns or should it be no weapons and no archery? Or do you want to call out each weapon? Like weapons could be guns or knives or any other weapon. Is, you know, what's the thought on the language we use for that?
Just feel like a lot of people have like a jackknife in their pocket or something, and
I carry one, yeah.
yeah, I don't know that we need to call out that.
So no guns and no archery, I
I
think.
mean, to me, that sounds adequate.
I think
I mean,
that's
I didn't
good.
even know we had to call out no archery, but
Yeah,
And then maybe just a suggestion, say no firearms instead of guns too, just to make it like more broad.
I like it.
yeah.
And I also got my town email fixed, so just wanted to let you guys know, so you can finally send me emails there.
Oh, boy.
Right.
Great. Good suggestions. Thank you. Okay, so this top part just says the general rules, and then we specifically call out the dogs, which is similar to the sign we have here.
and let's do this. We don't have to wordsmith this completely tonight, but I would like, as we did somewhere else, go up to the top. I can't see the very top. Please.
Yep.
Right, a little bit more.
Well, I can't. I can't go any further. If I make it smaller, does that help?
No. Sorry, I meant a little bit more robust. Welcome, enjoy the land, not
Oh.
you on screen. You know, there's a lot of what I saw, maybe it's where you brought it up, but no trespassing, no this, do this. You know, we want to be a little bit more welcome, enjoy. I mean, I think we could, and we can do this
Oh,
later.
more so, for example, more so than we can on a sign.
Well, more than the sentence that's there.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoy Breakneck Hill. The following rules are designed to, but you know, and then it's a little, I think we could do a little nicer intro.
Yeah, we could say something like, we hope you enjoy your visit to Breakneck Hill Conservation Land. The
You're
property
managing for
features,
habitat, do something about, I mean, there's nothing there about what good stuff we're doing, is there?
This is a rules page, so I agree with you. Does someone want to take it on and add a few sentences?
I can write a few sentences. It would be something like, we hope you enjoy your visit. The property features trails for passive recreation and wildlife viewing and something,
So if you
something.
make the point about the habitat
Yep.
priorities, it makes the rules some of the rules make a little more sense.
Yeah.
Totally
You know what I
agree.
mean? And a little more welcoming, even though it's the rules page.
Yep. Yep.
So,
How about rules and regulations? Are we regulating?
well,
Rules just sounds like,
I guess I don't know that there's really a difference. Is there between a rule and a reg?
And is a regulation with the town literally a regulation? Is that
Yeah.
a key
mean-
defined term? I don't know.
In
Well,
my world, those have very precise meanings and they're the
Right.
same. A rule
well, I
and a reg.
think there's some bylaws that it's not just us, you know, right? Like the guns and hunting is a town regulation, I believe. So,
And picking up after your dog. I guess to me, it's like, if I
rules just
don't feel
sounds weird.
strongly, I don't feel strongly. It's more
Yep.
wordy, but I don't know that people interpret it that precisely.
Rules just doesn't sit right with me the way it sounds. Rules and
Okay.
regulation, don't usually people say rules and regulations?
That does go together oftentimes, so we can change it. That's fine. If you want.
But we can fix the nicey later. The nicey.
Right, but if we want it to be, this is already up and live, so do we want it to have to go through another vote?
I'm
to
saying we
approve
can do it later.
I don't,
The signs aren't there yet, right?
well, no, I don't know. Do we need another vote or do we just improve it as,
Yeah,
Joyce makes the edits and then we
Yeah, if we
consider
don't
it?
like it, we can come back and say so.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
I don't know that this needs a vote. It's a
Thank you.
consensus, correct?
And-
All
and
right,
thank
so
you,
I'll
Joyce.
work on a sentence or two here that calls out the habitat and the trails, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That'll be welcoming and nice and give some context where people
Context.
will say, oh my goodness, I really want to stay on the trail, not mess up the habitat.
Yeah, and knowing about the nesting birds is good perspective for a dog walker who may not have that in mind.
And a drone user who actually was aware of the issue.
Thank you, Joyce. And so Melissa was the one who made the changes so quickly this morning, so that was a wonderful.
Okay.
So she's the one that can, and we
These
can change the picture and do whatever you want. If someone has a better picture, Freddie, if you have one,
No, that's fine.
feel free.
I think it's nice.
I think
Any
it's
other
nice.
comments on that? Thanks, Kat.
Yeah, thank you, Kat.
And thank Tim Litt again for his QR code generator that we are now using.
Thank you, Timlet.
Tim Litt, call out.
Thank you, Timlet. Put that in the minutes.
And I think it was in the other one too. So I'm going to share screens again. Now I should be able to just share the screen and whatever I put on that screen should be the be all.
I like that. Now that I can see the whole thing.
Oh, you can see the sign again, the green sign.
Yep.
Yeah, because last
Okay.
time it was just all the writing and it didn't.
It was too large.
Didn't have the impact.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
that dog on the leash with the barrel with the poop bag.
says it all,
It
right?
says it all. You owe me a
Oh,
coat.
I love pictures. They just,
That's a good one. It's the,
thanks for purchasing that, Joyce, under your shutter.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so we're good here. So the next one was the authorized, so just for record, we were going to do, for this, the dog, we need 2 of these signs. But in the budget for the Choate Fund, I had only allocated 1 dog poop sign. So I would ask the committee, and does this require a vote? And if it does, then we might want to wrap up a few other things in the budget conversation. So it would cost about $47 if we go with this Gemini signs to generate the sign. So I would just ask the committee if they would be open to adding that to or to paying for that extra one.
I think we went into this expecting any additional funds would come out of stewardship, so.
And I think it's a small number, so I hope that's helpful for perspective. I'm not trying to get the committee to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so the next,
it's for Breakneck Hill, so it's not like you're trying to get us to spend money. It's like our job.
so do you see the second sign that says welcome?
I do.
Big. Okay, so this is just a small tweaks we made. And we want to kind of look and see if we can finalize this.
This could be me being picky. I think open dawn to dusk, capital Ds.
I was thinking that too. Oh, I'm in a PDF. I like that idea too. I want to do that. Yep.
I don't know if it's correct English grammar, but it just.
No, we get to do
would
what we
stick out
want.
Better.
Yeah, no, I like it better. And I thought about that too. And I'm glad you brought it up. Okay.
I think it looks great.
Okay, and that QR code can do the same thing. It can go to the rules page, which
Yeah.
I think probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's me.
What was that?
Never mind. It looks beautiful.
No,
It's
please
beautiful.
share it because we were on the same page. So I like nitpicks. It might
Well,
not even be
the-
nitpick.
The caps during your visit, the during, then down below the following, and then is it a little too close to the edge? Would it look a little better?
Kind of a little more white space on the sides.
Between it and the border, yes.
Okay, yep, I can do that. I like
But I
white.
was worried about, it only needs to be for the following, like a little more, not quite centered, but I don't want the things to get moved, your other,
Yeah, so I
it's
can.
just the
tighten it.
title line, not the,
Do we need colon after prohibited like we
I
have?
was just gonna say that.
Okay. Yep.
Talk about nitpicking, right?
No,
and
this is the
nitpicking,
good stuff. This is good stuff.
nitpicking, would those titles be a little better if they were a little bigger?
Make those. a little
During
bit
your
bigger,
visit,
yeah.
please.
Yep.
And the following are prohibited. You have enough white space on the side, I think,
Okay.
to make it work.
Good.
But it looks, I mean, it would be beautiful if you just did it like that, but you could make it a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else on this?
Thank you, Tim Lit, for the QR code.
Yeah, again. And so we did budget 2 permitted use signs for Breakneck Hill. So these 2 are covered under the budget.
Great.
And this goes to the rule page again?
Yes, it does.
It's a different rules sign.
No,
though,
same
right?
rules. We put the
So it's a
general
different rules
use.
sign.
Yes,
Last one was dogs and this is general.
right. But on the web page, we just put all of the rules on one page and just had it separated under general use guidelines and then dogs. Maybe it should say dog policy or dog something more than just dogs.
I know why it bugged me, you guys. That thing about the stewardship committee.
Yeah.
For the full set of rules, you're not contacting us. You're going to the QR code. This might be too nitpicky. So don't have a head explosion.
We
The full-
give both,
The QR code brings you to the full set of rules.
but not everyone's going to have QR code readers.
But
So
you give them the website, but they don't
Yep.
need to contact the Southborough Stewardship Committee, or do you think?
Well, if folks do have questions or comments, I mean, there's nothing else on the kiosk right now that has contact information, and it's kind of a nice
I'm not-
thing. Are you
I don't
concerned?
think you got my point.
Okay.
For the full set of rules, you don't have to contact us, just read the web page. Or is that just?
So
me?
so maybe I could put a comma so for a full set of rules. Okay, I see what you're saying. Go to the website, or for questions, contact. Okay,
But
I
that-
see what you're saying.
It works the way it is, I guess.
I
That was
think
just what
let's-
bugged me.
I think what we can do is for questions, please contact the Southborough Stewardship Committee, period. For a full set of rules, visit our website.
Will that fit?
Yes.
I was worried about it not fitting. Will that fit?
Well,
Yeah, I'll
it'll
make
be
it-
more crowded, I think, but you could do it.
Yeah, there's magic you can do with size and stuff, so.
It just would read better. We
Yep.
don't want them thinking they need to contact us. They can get the rules right from the website.
No, that's a good call and a good point. So for questions, contact Southborough, and then for full set of rules.
Because we don't want to all be getting wacko emails all the time. Where are your rules?
Okay, perfect. So we're this sign. Okay.
Yep.
And so this is where I get a little, okay, so then these are the signs that are going to be posted, right? So then we have our campaign that
Yeah.
we're going to have a variety of signs. So we're going to have some H-stake yard signs, right? That will go up during our campaign. We'll be sitting at a table somewhere and we're going to flag poop, and then we're going to have these nice signs out, and we might use those signs throughout the season without flagging, just to keep people aware of what's happening. So Joyce had put together a lovely dog poop yoga based on the one that she found. So don't look at that. Let's see. Can you see? I switched screens. Can you see it still?
I can see it, but not the whole sign.
There we go.
Better.
So I'm going to just let you read it, and we can make improvements however we feel the need to.
I can't remember if we have a trash can at Breakneck
Yes.
Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
We do,
both
okay.
sides. Yeah.
The only question I have is, what if we just did poop scoop yoga and not try?
We could. And before it was free. And then and I saw a sign that said try. I was like, that's kind of fun. We could do that.
Or
Okay.
I don't know, it's the try, maybe free poop scoop yoga.
Yeah, it was free before, and it is free yoga. So we could do free instead of try. or just poop scoop yoga.
Maybe just poop scoop yoga. Sometimes less is more.
Yeah,
Yeah, poop scoop yoga. It's funny.
okay.
I like it a lot though. I like how dainty the standing bow poop scoop
Yeah,
was.
Joyce did great at finding these silhouettes. They're really
I
awesome.
like
I
this-
really
like
like them
that.
too.
I like the names.
I-
Warrior
Me
2.
too.
poop scoop.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Kat, you must have done that because I didn't do that.
Yeah, I thought the names would be cute, the actual poses, and then I ripped off the other form that had like the poop scoop at the end of it, because that's really what tied it in.
Standing split poop scoop.
I thought it could be standing split ... pick up your, not saying it. You can fill in the blanks because it kind of rhymes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I thought I might get poo-pooed.
Standing
I tell
split.
you,
Pick
you
up
can get
your,
any.
pick up your dogs.
Yeah, I had fun shopping on Etsy for these silhouettes.
Yeah,
Like you
they're
get,
great.
I think the sheets I bought, it's like literally 100 of them. So
100 what?
poses.
Oh. All with dog poop?
No, Kat and I added the dog poop.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
She
so
made the-
talented.
she made the poop bags. She
And you
actually made,
added it into the pose?
she
Yeah.
made King Kong size poop bags, so we shortened them a little bit so that they'd be little dog poop bags.
They look a little bit like water
I know, I
balloons.
know. But you get the idea.
or little mini pumpkins. No, they're perfect. That's what you think. The
Yeah.
poop scoop yoga.
Yeah.
Poop scoop. It's the law.
Is it the law? I was curious.
Southborough requires people to pick up
Fine.
their dogs.
I want to
Okay.
get the cops down there to find people someday. Maybe we can.
Okay. So this was one sign. So then we had thought about using some of the existing signs like this.
Yep.
And I really like this because it's powerful, even though it's really nasty. But I didn't make this sign. So
Right.
we want to probably make a version of this for ourselves, but I ran out of time and creativity to do something. So if the committee's comfortable and Joyce can sign off on it, that some version of this would be another yard sign.
Yep.
What do you mean some version?
Well, not this sign because it's not ours, it's copyright,
Isn't
so
it copyright? I got it from the,
is this Weston?
yeah.
Oh, and they gave us permission?
Isn't it Weston? No, you got this one, maybe.
I think it is. I think you're right.
I
that it
think we're
is.
okay.
Oh,
What
and Weston gave us
image,
permission.
image results for dog poop. What does that mean?
That's just like the compliance thing that pops up.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's my. Oh, then if we don't have to make it up, I would be okay using this sign as is, as long as we can.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that was part of what I had.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
I
think
reach
you're right.
out and he sent me a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. And there might have been one more too, then if that's the case, we can just use those off the shelf. That would be lovely if we didn't have to create more. So maybe a variety of 3, is that a comfortable number?
Yeah, until we come up with other ideas, yeah.
What do you mean a variety of 3?
3 different types of H stake yard signs that can go up throughout the, oh, actually there was one more.
Well, what's the other one?
Well, the other one would be a version that we, let me just see. If I can, where I put it.
You said 3. I'm only seeing 1.
Well, the one was yoga.
No, I thought yoga was going to be a full sign.
Oh, yes, and this is going to be a full sign.
Oh, okay.
You mean it's not going to be an aluminum sign? It'll be one of those like rotating kind of signs.
Okay. Okay. Do we have something for the flags?
Yeah, I do. Let me just see if oh, I have it here. Wait.
I'm like a little kid. Like I want. What do you have? Let's see.
Whoa. Okay, yeah. So this was, oops. This was another version.
Yeah, those are from Weston and we can use
Okay.
them. I found the email. He goes, I
Okay.
hope they work for you.
Okay, good. Yeah, so we can use those off the shelf. Then the
Are those
only other
considered
one,
kind of, is there any way, like with your magic, can you make them like not be flying up above the ground, levitating?
which one? What do you
Here.
mean? Oh, this one?
Does it not look like it's on the ground?
Yeah, with this one, yeah, they superimposed a picture of a poop bag. So that's why it looks weird. Is that what you're calling out?
Yeah, there's no way to, if that's the best he can do, it was just, he did so much wonderful with the,
We could probably play around with this a little. And I hear you. I have a little eye for
it
that.
looks a little bit like it's levitating.
It almost looks like a green rabbit.
Yeah, I saw that too. Easter, like an
Oh,
Easter
okay.
basket bag.
So the other
Anyhow.
one, we wanted to tie in the no poop fairy. So this isn't pretty, but this was where my creativity stopped working. And so this would be, the idea is, we had talked about having, Joyce had come up with the little, can you see my, what I have in my hand? It's a
Oh my God,
version of the poop fairy that's on this sign, right?
yeah.
So the idea was to save costs too, is we could print, I know this keeps going out of, we could print versions of this, laminate it, and put it on tall stakes. I found a pack of dowels that are 3 feet tall from Amazon, 25 pack, $18. You can kind of bounce them into, you pack them or use a little rubber mallet and get them into the ground. So it'll be a
Yeah.
tall, flat marker of the poop fairy. And then this sign or some version of this sign would be what ties it all together, right?
Right.
So if we had this at the beginning of the entrances on the day we're doing our outreach, people are walking around, they see that little poop fairy down, they understand why they're seeing it, right? So
So can you-
something like this.
Can you hold it up again?
It's not pretty and it's not colored.
Okay, so don't move. Oh, those are her wings. Because from here, it looks like a rabbit behind her.
Yeah, and we don't have to cut it out if we don't want to. I just thought it might draw attention. We could do it as a circle. If we wanted to simplify it.
I like it kind of cut out as long as it's not like, but
Yeah.
does it say there is no poop fairy on it?
Yes, so that's the thing is it would say exactly what, please pick up after your dog. It says no
What-
poop fairy, please pick up after your dog and put it in a trash can. So the little
So-
flat markers say that.
What if they didn't? What if they just said there is no poop fairy without all
Oh,
the,
we could do that too.
just
Yeah,
real big, there is no poop fairy.
okay, yeah, we could totally do that.
And then you have the sign that explains it all.
Yeah,
And then you see one, you don't need to have all that language. 'Cause
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
I-
better.
I like that. I think simpler on those cutout signs is better.
And that's another idea from Joyce. She's the designer of this one. too.
Are we gonna have to do the cutting?
Well, I was thinking that would be a wonderful get together with adult beverages like hot chocolate or something. A
Yeah,
little cutting party.
I love cut and paste, so I'm in.
Yeah.
I love a party.
You what? You love a party? You love a
Yeah,
poop fairy
after
party?
all this COVID stuff, it would be nice to get together.
Yeah, it would be. Okay, so that sounds like a go. And, I wonder if and the dowels, I think, if I just moved the screen over, can you now see Amazon?
Oh, wow, they even have points.
Well, so see, I would love something with points, but this is some odd site and I'm not quite sure. And these are far more expensive than what Amazon had. So Amazon had these dowels and I figured even if it doesn't have a spike, if I had a little rubber mallet and you just poke and the ground's soft enough, I think it should be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
And actually without the poker, without the spike might be better because how tall did you say, 3 feet? I could picture 2 young boys grabbing one and then there'd be a sword fight with the poop.
Oh,
My poop fairy beats your poop fairy. I don't know, it's
And-
something like, a
and they
sword
might poke
fight.
their eye
That's
out.
honestly a good idea. We should have a poop fairy site. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
Okay, so
I
that's,
just love this.
so I think that might conclude the signage for just like what we're putting up. Oh, what was this? Oh, this was an idea. So this is the color version. I don't know if we want it this color, but some
No,
kind
not that color. If she's going to be any color, it's not that color.
she kind of matches the poop. But it,
What
we could
about-
go-
It could be that color.
What
but not
about
her.
forest green?
we could, or I was thinking, I mean, we could do green, but you know, it is going to kind of blend in. But if you
Yeah,
like
you're right.
Neon yellow or
Right,
neon
Think like
pink,
hot pink
pink, yeah.
with
something
Yeah.
like-
some
Mhm.
glitter.
Pink or purple, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, something that will pop in the green of the.
And-
And then if they were printed like that and cut in half on sheets, then it's not quite
Yep,
as
it saves
hard
on
to cut
paper.
out.
Yeah,
But it just says
Pink.
there, it doesn't say no poop fairy. It says there is no poop fairy.
you wanted to say there is no poop fairy? Is the
Yeah,
language?
no, please pick up, just there is no poop fairy.
Okay, got it. And so additional, so it's like, let's see, the dowels are like, what, 18, a pack of laminate, 17, some other supplies, maybe tape and how we apply it. So the total on that is just like an extra $57-ish.
So I'm going to make a motion at some point. Are you almost done with the supplies?
Not quite, there's two more little.
Okay.
Yeah.
That we just make a motion to, or agree by consensus that you can spend up to a certain amount,
Yeah,
like
And I was
$500.
thinking that
and
number
you don't
might
have
be-
to-
yeah, that number might be 400.
Yeah.
So
so
up to
that's-
$500, and then, you know, you don't need to be stalling because you have to have another committee meeting.
Okay. Got it. And I'll work with Joyce on all of that.
Yeah, so that would be my opinion, only one person.
Okay.
Where does this go?
Well, this doesn't quite go anywhere. This was used at Heritage Day. It's information provided by DCR that we recycled and created 11 by 17 for our booth. And we can grab, and I have permission from DCR to use some of this information. It's just dog waste education information. So we can kind of extract some of this as we think about our social media outreach and how we're going to post like maybe a little tidbit each. We have to talk about what our frequency is, but each week at least we post one tidbit factoid. You know, we're kind of
Where is this
slowly
going?
building up. Pardon?
Where is it going?
She's
You said
saying
something-
it's like something we can use pieces of in different ways.
I know, but I thought you said social media, which we don't have.
Mhm. Well, so remember, this is also tied, we're joint partnership with Trails, and I know someone on the Trails Committee. So I didn't get any laughs from that. Come on. Anyway, so this, so the Trails Committee would use their Facebook page to post this information as well. And we can talk about other avenues like the library, the share and care page. This topic came up on the share and care page. Joyce, you might remember that conversation last year. So we can also do town-wide announcements via Vanessa. We probably need to be more strategic about using the town-wide alerts. They're not going to want to do it every week, I'm pretty sure, but they would probably maybe every couple weeks, or maybe what we do is one big blast, and that's our first kickoff. Use
They'll
it in the town-
probably do, I wouldn't even imagine they would do it once a month
Yeah.
on the same.
So maybe
topic.
just once using the town-wide e-alert, and that would be like a brochure that has all the information, right? That's one touch, that's our kickoff in a way, and we can tell them about the program. And then from there, we trickle using our different outreach, including my Southborough, who can pick up an art, you know, and write a blog about
And
it.
you know, I had another thought about this information because when I did get permission from and those PDFs from Weston, their conservation website has a lot of good information like this about dog waste and why we have to be concerned about it.
Yeah.
And so we should, you know, I'd be happy to work either alone or with a you know, someone else on the committee to create some language for us to consider having at another place on our website that would be educational and would, you know,
Yeah.
could draw on some things like this and the kind
Yes.
of things I saw on that website. So I think that would be terrific. Like, yes, it'd be people who go to our website then would find it, but
Yep.
um,
Yeah, I
So-
like that, Joyce. And it could actually, you could create a separate page for, resources or something. It could be under that. It
Yeah.
could be a specific dog waste education resource. I don't know
Yeah,
how broad
exactly.
you want to be. And then from the rules page, you link to that page when you have your dog policies that will help link that
Yeah.
information, right? Tie it all together. Because this is also, and whatever we come out, I'm happy to work with you because I was doing a little research and found some great information before this, because trails need something like that also. So this will work in conjunction and we
Yeah.
can share the good information that we
Yeah,
have.
I'm
And
happy to-
drawing on Melissa's thing with stormwater and the concerns more broader than just, our conservation land, but there's bigger consequences. So
So
Yeah.
love it.
one comment I have is that this here has DCR logo in the upper left-hand corner,
Yep.
which not for our use at Breakneck Hill, but so I don't know if you can do the same information, but I think it's really valuable for the concerns on the other trails for you to connect with DCR and use their logo and have it not
Yeah.
be the Trails Committee making the decisions.
Already done, because I want to point to them as being the people that are requiring this. And then we point to also the fact that we're in watershed. We have to do this. We have a drinking water supply. Our reservoir is the backup water supply. We have no choice but to do this, right? So we're tying it all into bigger and bigger objectives so that it isn't the Trails Committee or the Stewardship Committee making these rules just because we love making rules. This is about protecting, preserving, and doing all the good things that we're supposed to do. And we
So
have
my
special trails, yeah.
The point I was kind of making though is the DCR is critical, but it doesn't relate to to the Stewardship
It
Committee.
does.
And how do you have a sign for both?
Yeah. So I talked to DCR about whether we could use some of this information. And I explained to them that stewardship is not maintaining land on DCR land, but that trails are, so that we would, we wanted to have a consistent message. So they do want their logo will be on the trail stuff, but not on the stewardship stuff, even though there may be some same information shared.
So again, you're talking about putting stewardship stuff on the trails Facebook page.
I just did that with the town forest naming too. I give
Correct.
credit to stewardship so that
I'm
they
not
know
worried about
that,
credit. I'm worried about, I want to, how do we use the same information and have it be stewardship without DCR and the same information for trails with DCR on the same social media? That was my question.
yeah. So I think, well, let's break it down in two things. One is their logo doesn't have to go on every social media post, right? So these social media posts are going to be educational blurbs. So that's one thing. And so there's going to be different, yeah. And then the signs for stewardship is they're not going to have DCR logo, and we're not actually putting this on signs, right? Other than, I don't think, yeah. So
I just think, okay, I guess I think it would be great to have that DCR logo really big and put that, make it a sign on your kiosk or something.
well, we are doing
For you.
that. So the
Okay.
whole part of the project that I don't talk about here is all the signs that we're putting up all over
Okay.
town for the trails, right? And I don't talk about it here because, but it's going to be consistent messaging what we come up with here
Okay,
and how we, yeah.
that takes
So
care of
I
my
think,
question.
does that answer your question?
Yep, it does. I just think
And-
trails shouldn't get beat up over the no dogs when it's
No,
a DCR rule.
I
And-
appreciate that, and I'm not looking forward to what might be coming, but I did, and DCR is going to approve the signage too. They've asked if their logo is going to be on it.
Right.
They're going to want to take a look at it.
And the
But-
other thing is that when this comes out, even though it's different, the Stewardship Committee will be hit with the same negative people, I think.
And so if there's a
About
concern
picking up
about,
your dog.
about
I mean, do you
people
think
mad
there's going to
about
be a
having to-
lot of people like complaining that we're asking them to pick up dog waste? Because I feel like there's a lot of people posting on Share and Care and other places saying that they're super annoyed about having to clean up. And they see people not picking up and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be a few, but seems like mostly people are going to be happy that we're doing this educational campaign.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's yoga, dog
Mhm.
poop yoga, and
I think we're trying to keep it
dog
light.
poop fairy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
good.
so I think you're right, though. The messaging is going to be true. We're going to have to spend some nice time. I would, for the trails, we're going to have to spend some really good time at how we message it and package it so that it gets across in the way that it needs to without ruffling more feathers than it's already going to. So we talked about this. Yeah. So I think we're good with dog waste and authorization use signs. Something we need to just briefly touch on is the schedule of how we're doing this. Very important. One more thing, or three more things. But I talked to Jim Hegarty about adding, and this was someone else's good idea, maybe Freddie or Joyce, adding a flyer to the dog license registration and renewals. So he said yes. And I said, we want to make it as easy as possible. So we're happy to drop off a set of flyers for you to just insert. He said, nope, no need. You can send them to me and I'll print them for you. You just tell me the color paper you wanted. So that was super awesome. And that's going to be a cost savings too. So I thanked him very much. And I told him I would share it with the committee. So we just need
So
to
we
come
put
up
that
with
in the minutes, please.
that Jim Hegarty offered
Thank
to
Jim
do that.
Haggerty for stepping up.
Thank you, Freddie. And so we just need to come up, we're not going to do it tonight, but we need to come up with what that flyer looks like. It doesn't have to be a half pager, it can be a 2-pager. So this can be, this will go out to all renewals. And then he did confirm, I asked him how many dogs are in Southborough. And so we can use this in our campaign. And he said there's 1,484 registered dogs in Southborough. One dog produces between 0.5 and 0.75 pounds of poop a day. You multiply that by 1484 and you get 742 pounds to 1,113 pounds of poop a day.
Ooh.
A day.
I
Now
did a
imagine
number
that
of how
going
much
into backup water, backup
I
drinking.
did a number once of how much poop at Breakneck Hill. It was disgusting. I mean,
Yeah.
I did an this was a while ago, and I multiplied it out by how many dogs a day, how many
Yeah.
days a year, and it was disgusting when you thought
It's
of
a
it.
lot of poop. So this is really good information that we can use in our education campaign. I
Oh,
think
maybe
it's
we can
moving.
have a dog poop trivia night.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Maybe.
Maybe we don't call it that.
No, but we should think about how to use trivia, like take a guess. Well, people are going to Google it. Fine. All right, never mind. But some of our posts could be more engaging, like guess how much poop is an estimate poop per day, or something. And then we give the
Yeah, how much-
answer at the end of the day.
dogs in Southborough generated every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually really, and get people engaged on the social media, like guessing. And it's like, what is that awful game? It's not awful, but Wordle or something. It would be
Yeah.
like a poople or something.
I love that. Are you tired of playing Wordle? Try the
Here's
new.
Hi,
another game
Google.
for you. But that's brilliant.
That is
And then
brilliant.
all be words associated with, like picking up after your dog.
Yeah.
Yoga.
So so that was interesting to learn. And then I reached out to Melissa because someone else had the great idea about the welcome letter for new residents, including something in the welcome letter. So are you guys seeing the welcome letter that's on my screen right now?
From the Conservation Commission, yes.
Yes. So she said, funny you should ask, because they just literally put it together and circulated it today. And so I was reading it and I asked if we could put a link or some sentence in here about dogs, but then something else came up. And I'm going to slowly scroll. So what they have in this welcome letter is Conservation Commission, Senior Center, voter registration, Southborough Library, Southborough Youth and Family Services, Southborough Rec, DPW transfer, but nothing about open space, trails, or stewardship. So let's add a paragraph in the welcome letter and get our committees and links to our sites so new people coming in town are oriented to what open space and natural resources we have in town. And then we can add our dog blurb here. So we probably want to be sensitive to the space.
Can we,
But
I
it's an
don't know how
opportunity.
soon this has to happen, but can we pull the dog stuff out of the open space and trails? So it's a standalone. Your dogs must be licensed. We have laws that are not relative to us. That we have ask Jim Hegarty for it, but he made them. There's a, the pick up after your dogs, and that's a fine. You don't have to write it all in here, but they must be licensed, they must be picked up after, and they must, we don't have a leash law, but we have a law that they have to be under the owner's control at all times.
The top of the page has a
Hey.
reference to dog license.
Yeah,
but
so
let's
shouldn't
throw the
that
dogs
stuff go
together.
under the dog license section?
Where's
The
that?
top of the
license?
second page. Apply for a dog
For a
license.
dog license, yeah. So it seems like that material should all go under there, and then we're not the bad guys.
Thank you, I
Yeah,
love it.
that's my
I didn't
thought.
even see it because I read so fast, so.
And then
add dog
Southborough,
stuff here.
And so then the open space and trails is just about,
Yeah, I love it.
access to,
why does it say open space under recreation?
It's
Pull that
not,
out.
it's a cat did a red line of this
No.
letter, and it's now its own section. And it's not under recreation, it's a next paragraph.
It's
Yeah.
equal
Excuse
to.
me,
it's a new
Excuse me.
section.
excuse me, read the recreation. For information on seasonal recreation programs, community-wide events, public facilities, ball fields, and open space, contact the rec department.
Oh, I mean, that's just what they had in there. So I haven't wordsmithed any of this. It
Right.
just, I asked Melissa so I did a shameless plug. I was like, can we put Trails Committee in recreation? And then I'm like, whoa, wait, we're leaving out natural open space. We're leaving out stewardship in Breakneck Hill. So let's, then I thought, let's do a new section. So I haven't talked to Melissa about this, but I'm sure she'll be open to.
How soon does it have to be done?
Well, she just circulated it today, and I don't know what their timeline is, but we always like to strike while it's hot.
Is there a heading that says Conservation Commission that conservation land would be under?
Yeah, conservation's right here.
Okay, the
Do you want stewardship under here?
well, it is conservation land, so probably.
But with this, so then you're pulling out stewardship from trails and from
Open space,
space
yeah.
commission.
Yeah.
And when I read conservation, I was like, oh, they're talking about, if you're near a
Oh,
stream.
Melissa's on the call,
No.
Melissa,
When did she come?
I think she's, I don't know.
Oh, poor Melissa's raised her hand all this time. Oh, I'm so sorry, Melissa.
I just want to say I did laugh at your joke, Kat, about the Trails Committee. So
Oh, that was a long time ago. I'm so sorry.
no, it's fine. So yeah, this is a homeowner's letter I've been sending out the last 2 years. So each department wrote their own section. So if you guys want to include however else you'd like, I think I agreed with Freddie that having the dog waste putting in the town clerk section would probably be a good idea with the license information. But yeah, I think the open space under rec, that was what Tim gave me today as an update. So I just sent it out today to the department since it's been about a year since I had them edit it. So this would be perfect time to think about what you guys want to put in. And, so I think a separate section is dedicated. It doesn't have to be under rec. It can be further up, wherever you think it works the best.
Thank you.
Well-
Do you mind that idea came up? I don't want to, jump in, but I think it's a wonderful opportunity to share this type of information with new people in town, and it seemed to fit right in.
So
I think so.
it does, can I say, Melissa, for the Open Space Commission? I'd like to have a little sentence that might not be the same as the trails or stewardship, and because we have that pollination preservation gardens around town and preserving open space. So I don't know, I mean,
Can it be in the same? See, I was just trying to keep it simple, and I don't want you to be, I don't want trails to bring you down, but I kind of feel the open space and recreation plan, it kind of all lumps into one category. So I didn't know if there was a world where we could coexist.
Yeah, and
talking
also
to me?
think, or
Yeah.
yeah, anyone. But also I do include usually 1 to 2 pamphlets in every letter too. So also think about that. I think right now I still have the native plant of Southborough's one that I include. You know, I usually switch them depending on season. So there's always one if they have wetlands near their property. I include a special one for that. And then usually like this time of year, I do snow disposal, unpermitted discharges to stormwater sewers, and whatever else I can get my hands on. So if you guys make that dog poop pamphlet, that's also something that I can include in the new resident letter.
And when you said I haven't looked at it in a while, but I'm pretty sure from the Open Space Commission anyhow, that we'd want something updated from whatever native plant thing you have.
Yeah, yep. I think that would be good. So, you know, when you guys ever have any informational docs, you know, feel free to send them my way because I do kind of circulate the pamphlets I have and they do get a little repetitive sometimes. So fresh material is always good.
I think, just while we're talking about it, I think even though it's under trails, Cat, I think putting that dogs are not allowed on reservoir property, DCR property, is worth putting in under the other dog license stuff.
That's what we did. Yeah, that's what this note says, although it has all these highlights. It's add dog stuff here. We're gonna put dog stuff.
All
here.
the dog stuff there.
Yeah, because we're keeping it away
Oh,
from.
okay, yeah. So, and if your other comment was you thought that trails and open space and stewardship could all be on the same line, I wouldn't disagree. I'm just thinking that the Open Space Commission might want to weigh in on what
Absolutely.
we want written. And my question was, how long do I have to do that? Because I have other things in the queue.
I send them out in the beginning of each month for the previous week, previous month's sales. So, you know, it's something that's ongoing.
rolling?
So it's
Is it
rolling.
rolling?
It
Thank
is
you.
rolling. And that's why it's just kind of like, oh, I haven't sent it out to the departments for a year. So let's make sure the websites haven't changed. And lo and behold, in a year, a lot of them had. So, you know, this is always a editable document rolling. So whenever you figure something, your quick spiel kind of that you want to have in there that tags all the important parts, then just let me know.
Yes.
Thank you.
So-
That's very kind.
Thanks,
How do
Melissa.
we
I
want to
hope-
do this as a
I'll
committee?
put that in the minutes, please. Thank you, Melissa.
What do you want me to put in the minutes?
Thank you, Melissa. for
Thank you,
letting me
Melissa.
Add to the.
And Melissa, could you send around the copy of the existing draft to all the committee members so that we have it? And
Do you
then,
want- I'm right on my email. Would it be helpful if I did that since Melissa might
oh,
be
yeah,
out of
yeah,
pocket?
that's fine. Thank you. Melissa, you don't have to do it if Kat does it.
Thanks,
Um, And then, how do we want to work on this as a committee? Does somebody want to own it and share language at the next meeting? Or,
I'm gonna do, so I'm happy to take a stab at it, but you're gonna want to edit it. So what I can do is take a stab and it would be like kind of a combo, but you're gonna want to probably add something specific to Breakneck. So I'll just say I can give you a skeleton, and then if Freddie wants to layer in the open space piece, then we can all make that gel once we have our pieces. And probably just, I'm thinking a short paragraph. I'm not looking to make this like a huge long thing, because we're going to link to our websites, which I hope will be the long paragraphs that we can, right? So short, punchy, to the point, catchy, and oh, I want to go there and check things out type thing. But yeah, I'm happy to send that to you before next meeting, so you can kind of ponder it. I'm very interested in getting on this ASAP for trails. So I'll send out that letter.
Also, I'm going to have to leave early right now, but I think everything looks great. All the signs are awesome. It was great to meet with you guys today.
It's really
Thank you.
wonderful having you here.
thank
Yes.
you,
Absolutely.
Bella.
There'll be an
Great,
opportunity
bye.
to do some of the outreach together. So maybe we can talk later about if you have time in your schedule, like in whenever we decide to do it, I guess in April or
When we
something.
do the
Yeah,
cutting
absolutely.
and then the poop trivia night.
Um,
Yes.
Yes,
Quick
I'll
que-
definitely be there for that.
Quick question, do we want to make the motion with Isabella here, or we're fine because we have quorum?
We have
Just,
quorum.
okay,
A
okay.
motion for what?
To allow Kat to spend $500 on
Let's do it while we're all
materials.
here.
What?
While we're all here, why don't we just do it?
Okay.
Okay.
Make a
Uh,
motion to allow Kat to spend up to $500 on supplies and whatever's necessary for the sign.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor, Jenny,
in favor.
Kat,
In favor.
Bella,
In favor.
Freddie,
In favor?
and I myself am also in favor. The motion passes.
All right.
Thank you.
All
All
right,
right.
thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Hi, Bella.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let's zip through this. So that was that, and I think that takes care of the sign stuff. And we can just quickly move to, is it time to move to, is there anything else I'm missing on that, Joyce? On this
I don't
piece?
think so.
Is it okay? Do we move to trails? I don't have the agenda in front of me.
The town forest and trails was next.
Trail names, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the naming. So
Okay.
congratulations on your questionnaire.
Yes, I am excited to hear about this. And so are certain people in my house.
Oh, I bet. So are you guys seeing an Excel spreadsheet now with a map and some stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this was super fun. It was a very positive experience. Aside from some, funny negative comments on occasion here and there, that is okay. So we had 118 residents participate, and most of them. So I did put a question of what town were you from, and everyone was from Southborough except for one person was, there's a Grafton. One was from Northborough, but they immediately commented, and I was watching it pretty regularly because I got obsessed with counting. But they said, "Oh, I've lived in Southborough for 20 years or something," so they had earned the right, and they were familiar with. So I'm not concerned that looks like, there's one from Marlborough. There's no way to tell. I'm comfortable with that. Most people were from Southborough. Does anyone have any issues with that?
No. So there were 117 votes, just so I can say for the minutes.
Oh, actually, it says 117, but I actually saw 119, and then I count here 118.
Okay.
Yes, I would do 118 because
Okay.
the count is actually, you see it coming up as 118. Yeah.
Who was
So-
the low one?
The low
Solomon Steel?
Blackbird. Oh, yeah, Solomon Seal didn't get any votes. That's too bad. And Black Birch Way got one vote.
I like the comment on the Sissewa Trail.
Yeah, that was Eileen Sandberg. Sorry, Eileen.
Ah, okay.
Excuse me, how didn't somebody get no votes? Because I thought you had to list them 1 to 16.
People could have probably skipped an answer.
Oh,
That might be why we have a 117 and 119 and 118.
I
issue.
didn't think it let you move on if you hadn't filled them all out.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
But the comments, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at those. Those were kind of cute. A lot of people were
Yes.
happy to engage. And then a few thought that the trail names were bad, but and some people didn't like way or lane. Others thought it might be confusing if we had a Hickory Lane trail and a Hickory Lane road. But for the most part, it was good feedback. And so-
Well, except for number 7, just take that out.
what was number 7?
The names are not great.
My favorite one is I don't like any of them.
Oh, yeah. Like, come on.
Why did you even write
What, did somebody vote twice, generally prefer shorter names? It's one person going in 3 times, like on the blog, using different names.
Yeah.
Oh, I like number 32. That's me,
NA?
32.
Yes, that was my favorite.
But no one would be able to pronounce it. I still can't pronounce
Yeah,
it.
smiley face.
My
Yeah, I
favorite
heard
was
that.
number 34, or what are you referring to? Number 27, the one about the salamander.
Oh, yeah. I bet I know who did that.
Yeah.
I thought
What
it was
else were the
Jenny.
comments? Not a way or lane and trail names. NA.
I like number
I
7.
rode my pony down many a trail. Sassafras Trail.
Yes, I really like that one too. That was really cool.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that's Linda Hubley's daughter. Who else rode their horses around town? I don't know.
I liked the comment that said you know, naming it after like some of the figurines, but I did get a chuckle because I was like, Turtle Trail. Well, I guess we could call it like Headless Turtle Trail.
Yeah.
There's no head left. Or bird. I liked Birdhouse Path. That was really cute too.
Yeah, but it's just like, those are not going to be, unfortunately, like, you know, timeless enough to, you know, warrant trails being named after them, which the
Go
people may not
further up.
realize.
I can't see above 6.
Remember the squirrel? Like we could have had melted squirrel.
Or wingless dragonfly lane.
What does this one mean? Glad you were finally working on a great area. Oh, area. I thought it said great idea. Oh, okay, so it's better.
Yeah.
But what do you mean finally working on?
I don't know.
She
Hidden
wasn't aware of
treasure.
all the other stuff we've done?
So yeah, I thought this was great. The comments were wonderful and
They are.
engaging. And so, yeah, so now our what we have left is I ranked them by the top choices I highlighted in yellow, and then I put them in a summary and suggestions page. So I'm going to flip here. So these were the top ranked names. And what I've done here in the map, the first map where it has the numbers in a reddish color, 1 through 7, is a proposal for discussion, right? When I started thinking about, like, if we were really naming every trail, then you might want to sign at every intersection, but that's going to get on, you know, it's a small property, it's too many signs. So I've put together a suggestion for our consideration, and I can walk us through that. And we have some flexibility on names. So if you really, you know, we did the exercise, we got everyone's feedback, we can kind of, you know, switch these around as we see fit. And one recommendation that was shared with the committee was Salamander Trail. It might be cute, instead of Salamander Trail, it's Salamander Meander. I'm not going to share who said that, suggested it, but we could all guess. But it's really cute and catchy, and I think we should
Wait a
seriously.
minute. Why wouldn't you share who suggested it?
Well, I'm just being cute, and it's not so
Was it
cute.
you?
No. Guess who shared about a salamander?
It had
One
to be
guess.
Denny.
One guess. Okay.
Simona?
Well, it was
Okay.
actually Jeff's idea. My husband's very good at thinking of cutesy little silly jokes, but it's very catchy.
What is it called? Salamander Meander?
Yeah. And we happen to have a
I can't even
trail,
pronounce it 5 times fast. That could be in our trivia night.
and we happen to have a trail with a salamander figurine that's still there.
Are there salamanders in that area?
There's a salamander figurine, and it's a wetland area. And I don't know if there's salamanders there.
Okay,
Well, you know, you have to turn over some logs. I'm sure they're everywhere.
okay,
But there's a figurine.
if you can
So-
find it. So that can be done? Is that
So what?
right?
That can be done?
Meander?
Yeah, do you guys like it? I love it.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Great. So, so what I've done here is I've just put the names and put them on the trail. And some work because we know, like, for example, Rocky Narrow, we know where Rocky Narrow is. There's a big rock outcrop.
I
So
chose
think
that
we-
because of you, Kat.
oh,
I was sure.
I was
that
happy
was
to
a
see
top
how-
number.
yeah.
It was super popular.
Yeah,
It
it
was.
was.
And I think to someone else's credit, it's in what's the name of the town? Next, Sherburne has Rocky Narrows, so it's probably familiar to people. They have an area there called that.
Yeah, it's
So
a trustee's property.
yeah, so can't take real credit for it, but it works in that space. So we decided as a committee that Bay Path would stay because that's the name of the main trail. Nobody wants to
Yep.
remove history. So that's the yellow trail coming through here.
Is that the one that goes out to this, it's for the is that the boardwalk number 4?
Correct. And that's what I was suggesting for the salamander meander, because there's a salamander on it.
Oh, okay. Witch
So,
Hazel Way, where's that? Because Witch Hazel is all over.
that's where we need to talk, because I wasn't sure about number 5, 6, and 7. I put that in red in the notes because I don't know where the sassafras is, or the witch hazel, the white pine. We want to.
White Pine got in there?
Oh, it doesn't have to. So yeah, White Pine Path got a high ranking, but if you felt better about Red Maple Trail or Huckleberry Way, we
Wood
could-
Frog Way didn't get in there?
it almost did. It's but Spring Peeper Path, came in more. People liked that better, just a little bit better than Wood Frog Way.
Okay.
But we have some
Do we
flexibility.
have red maples?
There's somewhere, because that came from the the forest plan.
Right, but are they significant enough to see? Because they are
Well,
really.
we didn't choose that
spectacular.
name. We didn't choose red maple. So this list down here between columns rows 40 and 47 were the top 7 I made a proposal for consideration. Right.
I guess if White Pine made it, okay.
We can switch it out. If you want something else, we could certainly switch it out to Huckleberry Way, or
I'd
Or-
rather have Huckleberry than White Pine personally.
I
What,
personally-
Huckleberry didn't make it?
It did. So look at the top. We had a tie. Red Maple Trail, Wood Frog Way, Salamander Meander, and Huckleberry Way all have very similar
Oh,
votes.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would vote to replace White Pine Path. I don't
Okay.
know. They're all
I
good
don't like-
names.
I really don't like white. I don't like pine trees at all. So I'm all for that. So let's do that.
I just feel like it's loaded with what we think is Huckleberry up there, and
Mhm.
that's
It is.
It's
trail.
true.
And it's very catchy, Huckleberry Way.
I think of Huckleberry Finn.
Yep.
Right.
I'm on an adventure on Huckleberry Way.
Yep. Me too.
And I
So,
like the idea that it exposes you to a new plant, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do
Might
like
go
that
look
too.
for it. Mhm. And maybe we could tie in some interpretive signage with the trail names and give an image of the huckleberry leaf. So when they're out and about, they're like, let me find the huckleberry. Let me find the sassafras. Let me
That
find the
can be our
witch
next trivia,
Yeah.
Mhm.
alternating
So-
with the poop trivia.
Okay, so then what I've suggested, Rocky Narrow is the little orange one, where is it? Number 2. Number 3, Spring Peeper Path. So even though this path doesn't really require a trail name, I thought that we could put one on because it's cute and it leads to the pond. So that's a decision for the committee to make. And if you liked Wood Frog Way better, we could switch those out too.
Mimi sent a tape of the wood frog.
Yeah,
Where did she hear it? At the,
this is the trail for the big pond, right?
Yeah.
With the bench.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of think that might be more appropriate. Spring peepers are just like, they live in the woods, right?
well, they live in the wetlands. Like where I hear them is that first, when you come in from either Bay Path or the other one, right along in there, those wetlands, I hear them. Maybe it's the boardwalk. But I
Okay,
think the
so we
vernal
swap-
pool. Did we ever certify that as a vernal pool?
Jenny said
It takes, I mean, we haven't heard anything back as far as I know. I assume Melissa would tell us.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I haven't heard
submitted?
anything.
Oh,
I wouldn't
you're on.
expect
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Sorry. I wouldn't expect anything probably for another year, I think, because you guys did it last year.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
it.
you
We
had
thought
said it
that
took a really long
submitted.
time.
Yeah, because there's only,
Okay.
I think, one person reviewing all of them in the state. So,
Oh, wow.
but yeah, if I ever get a certification letter, I'll definitely let you know if Jeff doesn't get a ping on his, whatever the hub is called now for natural
Oh, yeah.
heritage.
Yeah.
So I swapped out Wood Frog Way, and if we wanted to keep that name, that might be a good place for it.
Okay.
Salamander Meander is the white one with the boardwalk, so that seems like a yes.
You know where the blue comes into the yellow? right
Right
above Southborough. Over there, isn't that where it was heavy with the,
Witch hazel.
thank you. Yes. I believe. I'd have to go look to be sure, but I think it was around there. It's a
I feel
lot
like
of
it's all along the yellow, like along the way to the vernal pool.
Yeah, but we're calling that Bay Pass, so we don't
Yeah,
have an
yeah.
option.
Mhm.
So I-
And the other thing is, I mean, we might not get it perfectly right,
Yeah.
right? Like we can say the names are representative of flora and fauna or in the woods. And
Yes, yeah.
the best we can, we don't have
What's
to.
5?
5 is Sassafras Path. That's the.
Are there
blue
any
trail.
sassafras there?
What did I just say?
didn't
I'm
hear
not
you.
being snarky. I just don't know how to. I don't know exactly where they are. I would
Well,
love for
my
it.
question is, when do these have to go up?
Okay, so we need to, so this is the tricky part. Like some of these need 3, some need 2. If it's a 2 and a 2, it doesn't matter where it goes because we can figure it out. But if somebody needs 3, then we're gonna need to know that that's gonna go where it's gonna be. So what I'd like to do is come out of this meeting with a decision, and then I go to the sign person and say, please generate signs now and have them up and installed before April 30th, Earth Day, because we're tying this all into maybe a special walk either on, around, or near Earth Day.
So stepping back a bit, I understand you want to have it done today, but if it's a matter of switching 2 things out so that the sassafras is on a path that actually has sassafras with something else, is there any time to do that?
Can you identify sassafras without the leaves?
I can't.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Yeah,
There's probably not
can.
going to be very many leaves on this left on this time of year, I
You
think.
can tell what they look like, can't you? Unless they're not going to be big trees, right? They dance. They look like dancers when they have no leaves. They have a very distinctive form at Breakneck Hill anyhow.
the sassafras, I think at Breakneck Hill is bigger than what you see at the town forest because it's more understory.
The little ones,
So I have a proposal. Then we could swap out sassafras for witch hazel. So the blue would be witch hazel way. And the likelihood of, and that would be consistent with what you just said, Freddie, you thought that there would be witch hazel along the blue and the yellow, right? And then I put the sassafras. Uh-oh.
There is witch hazel near Woodland Road. I do remember that.
Okay,
That
so
yeah,
we'll,
it's all along there. But
so then
where are you putting the sassafras?
so what I can do is put sassafras in number 6, and then number 6 and 7. If we find we have some flexibility there, right? So actually, yeah, because the number of signs is 2 and 2. So if we had to
Oh,
switch
it's
them up,
just a matter of the number of signs.
yeah, so I took out the variable of the number of signs. So now you have some flexibility with either red or orange. If you find sassafras or huckleberry on either of these, you can swap them out. But that gives you a little bit of flexibility. But if leaves don't come out, if we're going to install in April, when do leaves start coming out? I mean, they do start coming out in April, right? A little bit, but pop in May. I don't know if there'll be enough.
For what?
But again, I think it'd be nice to be mostly right, but I'm not that concerned.
Does the forestry plan list where the trees were?
Does the forestry plan say where they were?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I was going to say huckleberry, I think you can tell because it's small and it has like pink, the branches are pink at the tip. So I feel like you could tell that.
Well, that was quick.
Wait, what's that rare species?
This here, don't pay, this is just standard. They put in all of them. It's cut and
Oh,
paste. Okay, go slow.
well, I was looking for a map, which is kind of fast. Is that okay?
I was looking to see if it gave any indication on where they were.
Yeah, let me look for a quick map and see. Oh. Oh, they do have white oak, white pine oak, and oak, hardwoods, red maple, white pine building. Oh, they don't have.
What are you looking at?
The
The
little
legend?
In
Yeah,
the
the legend
legend.
of this map has a couple of trees ID'd.
Red maples,
Oh,
or those types of,
is this the wrong? Oh, how is this?
I think
Why
it
is-
incorporates the open space on the other side of the Mass Pike too.
Yeah, but see where Walnut, oh, wait a minute. This is a different view. Oh. Oh, Woodland's down here. All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, the orientation is just really weird.
Okay.
That's the way I always think of it. How is it weird?
Well, I look at the SVT map and that's how I think of it.
Yeah, no, it's off to me too. So the white pines are on the other side of the highway.
Oh, white oak here.
Yeah, it's not oriented north. That's why.
Yeah.
Oak hardwood is here and we don't have that name. Okay. So
Yeah, I don't think those are necessarily meaning oak hardwoods. I think it's a type of forest community.
Yeah, and I think they were highlighting things because the forestry management, in part, that was, they're thinking about sort of commercial opportunities for timbering and things like that.
Well,
So
actually,
they're
we talked
calling
about,
out hardwoods and stuff that have value.
actually, we didn't list that as one of our goals, so
Well, that's true. You're right. Yeah.
quick question on this map, this aerial map, that little, you see where my cursor is?
Yep.
Is this Kidder Lane? Are these the two parking spots off Kidder?
no.
Okay. Is that
That's
part of
the
the
whole-
town forest?
That is part of the open space that is treated as a formal garden planting for Kidder Lane, and it shouldn't be, with spotlights and everything else on it. It's another story for another day, but not an allowed use.
Okay, so I don't want to take up too much time, but are we comfortable with being, it's sort of close somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, I am. I feel like we've got, we have the very act of the questionnaire brought attention, and now we can move toward signs and then getting them in. And I understand the angst about making sure we have a sign with that plant on that trail, but we know there's tons of huckleberry up there. So probably
Not
anywhere.
worried about the huckleberry, it's just sassafras is pretty,
The sassafras one is the one. I
Well,
did
we
not
can-
have a high awareness that there was sassafras there, but it doesn't surprise me.
No, it's definitely there.
it's all right.
Okay, so the next question, and I'm putting this to, for conversation, is number of signage and where, right? So Bay Path, I think it's important to have at each end, one in Woodland and one at the main kiosk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Rocky Narrow, 2 only because it intersects with 2 main trails. So Rocky Narrow is an orange, which is a kind of a connector, insignificant trail. However, it connects with Bay Path and the blue. So I thought we could
It's
have
okay
one.
for me.
Yeah.
Wood Frog Way, you only need one because it's just going to the pond.
Okay.
Good.
Salamander, Meander, I love it.
Where's that?
So that's the white path with the boardwalk and the salamander.
Okay, that's good.
So one at the front and then one where it intersects with yellow.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay. The blue, I have 3, and this is why. One at where it intersects with yellow, one it intersects with red, which is a main trail, and one at this intersection at the trailhead.
Mm.
We only
So,
want to have 3. It's just a really long trail.
okay,
You're good?
Yeah.
If there's a argument for other, I'm open to it. I'm not tied to this?
No, I mean, there's nothing worse than being at an intersection and not being clear about what trail you thought you were following, where it goes.
And Sassafras being red, so just one at the end of Walnut and then one where it intersects with the Blue Trail.
Yep.
And Huckleberry is this little orange guy. So I put two, one on each end. So one on the blue and one on the red.
Yeah.
And then an idea I had, because obviously we're not at every intersection, not everything's going to be signed, but what we already have up are colored blazes. Can we make, and this might look weird on some, but can we make the color of the painted sign name the same color as the trail that it's going on, so that it corresponds with the orange blazes? So even though you might not have a name, when you get to the end of an intersection, you see yellow, you may eventually learn that that is Bay Path, because you know yellow is Bay Path.
So,
Or
so
if
you're
you have a map.
saying the print of the sign would be yellow then?
Yes, because
But
we
that's
had,
not going to show up great, right?
well, the print would only be yellow for the yellow one. We had initially talked about it being white,
Oh,
right? The text. So we were going to have brown. I don't have it up. I don't know.
You're just saying for the text to be colored?
Yeah, just the text.
I mean, as long as it showed up, I guess yellow text to me seems to be hard to read.
You could do yellow with like a black border. You know how like you can do shadow around text? Maybe they could do something like that for the yellow text.
Yeah, what about white though? When they get to white, is white going to be problematic too?
Is the background white? Because there's a clue.
No, the back, I'm trying to pull up the thing. Let me just,
You said it was brown, right?
yeah, it's brown. But the other thing we could do is if we, so, oh, I already had it up.
Wait, so while she's looking for that really quick, did Charlie Eisman do a survey of town forest or only Breakneck?
I think I had him go over there a little bit too.
Yeah, I can't find that unless I didn't save it and it's just an email. Like I had saved the, I
It
had
should go
saved
up on-
Breakneck.
I'll find it again. Not right now.
I think it was just Breakneck from what I
Okay.
remember from the invoice.
Okay.
So this is a sample of the sign. We were going to have it painted brown with white lettering. Now we could go natural and have it stained instead, and it just be like a, kind of a natural pine. And, or if we do want to do color, it doesn't, I mean, does anyone have a
You know,
Uh,
I'm just worried
opinion?
some colors are just going to be hard to read. That's my worry. I
Yeah.
love the
I'm with
idea
Joyce.
of the coordination, but
Yeah.
yellow text is hard to read. Now, yeah,
Okay.
you could do some kind of
And then the
shadow or
orange on the brown.
outline. You're going to up your price by doing those things too, probably.
I
Yeah.
don't think enough
E-
people are going to get the connection to make it worth the effort and the risk of
Okay.
not being able to read it.
Yeah, and we can make sure that there's a color blaze underneath the sign so that people would start, well, yeah, I don't know. They're just gonna, it's a small property, don't get lost, and bring a map or take a picture of the map board or any number of things. Okay, so we won't do that. That's fine. So we'll stick, and we still want the color brown on the wood and instead of a stain. I don't know if one protects the wood more than the other. or
What do you
one-
mean the color brown versus a stain? What is the
So
color
this is a brown paint on wood versus just a standard, keep the oak color oak or the pine color pine and stain it with a clear stain. So
Oh, I
it would just
like
be-
wood that's
natural wood.
stained because it looks more natural.
I think so too. And we did that with the Trails Committee trails sign on the kiosks, and it looks really nice. It's just natural, but I've
Yeah,
seen
I
brown too. but
prefer that. I prefer that. What do the other stewards think?
I kind of lean that way too.
I like the natural stain too.
And even for consistency's sake throughout town, that might be a nice congruency.
Yeah. What do you think, Freddie?
I think whatever you guys think is a
Okay,
good
great.
idea.
Awesome, thank you. So what that means is total of 14 signs, and I had budgeted for, how many did I budget for? I had budgeted for 11 signs. So I would ask the committee, would the committee be open to purchasing 3 signs or paying for 3 at 195? And that would be included in the 500. So you guys, I guess, have already voted for that, but I wanted to explain what the additional money would go towards.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So I think that's it for that piece. And then the only other left, and we can deal with this at next meeting, is finalizing the map board. What I have to walk Breakneck Hill, and I started to GPS it. It's actually really, it takes a lot of time because you have to go to every intersection and then you have to stop your clock and start your clock and not overlap so your map's not weird. And I got part of it, but not all of it. And it was really cold that day and I almost ran out of daylight. So I'm going to go back and continue that process. And so by next meeting, the idea is, so SVT maintains this map. And I was hoping that we could just say, hey, Dan, pretty please, would you just mind moving a line here or there to match this GPS, right? And I think he might say yes, because he's been open to, helping us with the other map. And then I might also ask him, because Jenny had pointed out during our last walk, is when you print out white lines or the yellow lines in the town forest map, it doesn't show up on a black and white because because they're colored light. So if those lines could just be outlined black, even though they're still yellow, they'll just be outlined black. So when you
Why are they yellow?
Old Bay Path is yellow, just
Because that's the color of the Trailblaze.
yes.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
we did that last year. So if he could just outline that little line with black, it would help for printing in black and white. And then once, next meeting, we can decide the map boards. And then I think the permitted uses will be very similar to what we did for Breakneck Hill and the dog stuff. So that would be incorporated here too.
Great.
So I have a couple of things before when you're done
Yeah,
relative to this.
I think I am done. And then the flyer, that will be ready for next time. The flyer that will go into the welcome letter, the dog license letter. And then we also have the town meeting coming up in May. Do we want to have a flyer for the town meeting as an informational piece just to share with those who come to town meeting? Can't hurt if it's the same documents we're going to use for the welcome letter and such, or the dog license too. Not the welcome letter, but the dog license. It might be another touch.
So I'm sorry, just repurposing something we're creating for something else, or
Yeah, the brochure that, like the 1 or 2 pager that we put in for dog licenses, that was all about education and what can and can't do, that we have that same flyer at the annual town meeting for people to pick up and just read.
Yeah, I mean, people do tend to pick up a lot of paper at town meeting.
Yes.
Something to read when you're bored.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will it's another touch of outreach. So we're trying to tap
Yes.
social media, non-social media. How do we get the word out? How do you reach the people that aren't on social media? This is one of those ways. It's not a huge number of people, a couple hundred, whatever comes to town meeting, but it's something.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Awesome. So that's all I have. And thank you very much, Joyce, for all your work and for the committee support on
No,
this.
thank you.
And the idea is to hopefully wrap this up. Oh, we didn't talk about the outreach, but I guess, Joyce, can I work with you, or how would you like to work together as far as like the proposed text and stuff that we're kind of sending out? I think, we need to kind of have a second set of eyes on that. And I don't know if we can wait until the next meeting, because I was hoping we could start in March and do all of March and all of April. Every week we're touching on some topic. And then at our next meeting, if it is in March, we can decide what day in April or days that we want to do, like the sit
Wait,
down.
Pat, you just went way too fast for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to speed up so that I'm not taking more time. But so we have information that we're going to be sharing with our outreach campaign, right? Each week we're going to be sharing some information with people. So how do we want to, and we can't wait until like our next March meeting to start, because then we won't have a full 2 months. So what would,
Can you explain what the full 2 months is?
March and April would be the 2 months that we do our outreach campaign. And that outreach includes all of the avenues we talked a little bit about earlier, about sharing information, townwide and getting social media involved and, kind of.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be dense, but 2 months. Why do we need a full 2 months before when? Because whenever you start, you can go for 2 months.
Oh, I was wrapping this up April 30th because I didn't,
Yeah, it was supposed to wrap up
for Earth Day.
for Earth Day, right? Earth Week.
Yeah, and because and
Okay.
April 30th marks the date, like a full year for the grant. So
Okay,
it's kind of a symbolism in that too, like.
thank you.
not letting-
I just didn't understand what the deadlines were. I guess it didn't stay in my mind. So we have an April 30th deadline and you want everything done by that.
Well, it's a little arbitrary, but if it goes into March 1st, I think, May 1st rather.
Yeah, that's a good to have a deadline. I'm not against it. I just didn't get what.
Yeah.
So what do you need her to, what do you need Joyce and you to work on without having another stewardship committee meeting?
Approving text and messaging. Like I would propose it and get a second set of eyes.
The text and messaging for what?
The
What
little
we just went
blurb.
over?
Dog waste education. So
Different
we're
than
kind
what
of,
we just went over? That was what I was confused about.
okay, so that was what we just went over, was approving signage and stuff like that. But now our next step is the actual outreach to the community in the form of bite-sized pieces of information, because we wanted to span a couple months to have maximum impact. If you just send everything at one time, people might see it or they might not. But our objective was to kind of hit them with a little bit of information, building up on momentum and really getting people like seeing the information over a period of a 2-month time is kind of like, okay, enough's enough, people. I get it. I hear you, I see you, and now I can quote you, that kind of thing.
I guess my question is, this goes back to my prior question is, where is this going out? We don't have a Facebook group.
Right, but we have, so this is in partnership with Trails. So Trails is also doing this initiative, so we can leverage Trails Facebook page. And yes, there's different messages with DCR land and stewardship land. So we've got to kind of divide and conquer there. We can use our other outreach that I had listed, the same outreach we use for trail naming, which was my Southborough e-alerts. There's a conservation committee e-alert. They can use that. We can
Share and
actually-
care.
Share and
Yeah.
care, that kind of
Just
stuff.
back to the other question, I just don't see all that going out every 2 weeks. Am I missing it? But
It doesn't have to go on every channel every week, but if I put a post on Trails Facebook page on Monday, and then I
Yeah.
share it with the Facebook with Share and Care once a week, I mean, that's something that, moves on, and we can get, like, I think Conservation Commission, we can talk to Melissa about the frequency she feels is appropriate. Maybe that's every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something, so that we're not spamming people. We have to be, obviously sensitive to emails and such. Does that
Okay.
make more sense?
yeah, it does. I just wasn't sure. The frequency. So we're sending out tidbits regularly
Right.
based on what you already have, but we don't
Right.
have the language for it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fine with
I
whatever. you
mean,
wanna
as
do.
like in the first one, you can, I mean, or you could, yeah, in the first one, you could say,
What we-
Trails and Stewardship are working together on a dog waste education campaign, something culminating in Earth, not culminating, is that the right word? The word for ending in Earth Day.
Yep.
And we'll be.
I don't know that you want to say ending in Earth Day at the beginning because we don't have the Earth Day event planned yet, do we?
Okay. All right, but just,
That can just happen.
but just, and but just that we're working on a dog waste campaign over the next couple of weeks, and we'll be sharing weekly education, whatever. I'm just making up stuff.
Yeah, like watch this space
Yeah,
Stay
to
tuned
learn
for
more about our
Yeah.
campaign.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
I think you could send
There's
out the dog.
14
I think
there's
you could send out
there's 1,483 dogs in Southborough and they make, a pound of poop a day.
Hey, I think you could ask Recreation to send out the yoga flyer.
Yeah.
Get your exercise in, folks.
But yeah, but the point of this was like, Kat was, you're asking, is it if the rest of us trust you to work with Joyce on the messaging? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because I don't want to
Yes.
be the only one. I think the committee wants to have input and has very good
Yeah.
insight into how the messaging and phrasing should be. And then a division of where it's DCR and not stewardship, and making sure that alignment is consistent with the committee's objectives.
Yeah, I mean,
So the
I
only
think I'm
point-
good with that.
The only comment I have is that the distinction between stewardship and trails gets missed up if everything comes out from you posting it on trails and then that gets shared.
Not if it says in every single post, stewardship and trails. And I think you may have seen how I messaged the town forest. I think I might have mentioned stewardship twice in there just to ensure, because I definitely see your point. And so to kind of bring that home, really detailing it in the first and last sentence, or however it needs to say, so that one is not taking credit where the other.
You're not taking credit. It's not
I
the
know, but
issue,
I just mean to demonstrate the jointness, although one party is
And I'm
sharing.
going to say again, I think sharing on trails is great, but I don't think the message to other Facebook groups should come as a share from the trails. We can create our own.
Okay, yeah, we can create a
individual.
separate post.
Because no matter how many times you say stewardship and trails, if the post comes from trails, people are just going to identify it with trails.
That's fair. That's very good fair. I think I was shortcutting it because I short on time. so
faster.
just share an exact, but I like that idea, is to make sure that if you're posting it separately, and if recreation's posting it, that they actually create a post. And I will specify that in all the outreach, is that you need.
But if
to-
you're posting on share and care, or who's going to do it, and it's all on you,
Well, I mean, if I'm posting on share and care, it's Kat McKee, but Joyce could post as a way of balancing that out if you'd like.
Yes.
I don't mind it being all you. I'm just saying,
I
what
think that's
mean
a
is
good
all
idea.
this work is all on you.
Oh, this is fun work. I think that's a good idea though, Joyce, to get, if you want to do the posting on share and care, like as a division, but also as a, getting that other name out there. So the other association, you're the chair of stewardship, that would be a way to
Yeah,
highlight.
because
that. I
I've
really like that.
commented as chair of stewardship on share and care before, and also on my Southborough. So
Yep.
yeah.
And so just so you know, I would have no qualms with collaborating with trails. I just want to be sure we don't become the stewardship trails committee, in people's minds. Perception is everything. It's not the reality, it's perception.
No, I appreciate the feedback on how we can strike that balance,
Yeah,
because I don't want that either. I don't want to.
well, yeah. I don't want to get yelled at for banning dogs on the reservoir trails.
Yeah, I'm happy to be that person.
Well, I'll send them to you.
And then
I'm
I've
joking.
I've
No, no,
already
you already
passed
have
the
it.
buck to DCR, so we're good.
Good. I hope I had some help in that. Can I talk on the next topic, or are you done?
Yeah, I'm all
You're
set.
not
Thank
done.
you so much.
Okay.
I'm sorry this takes a lot of time, but.
I
thank you.
have, wait, 2 questions. One is for the minutes. The handout for a town meeting, was that supposed to be about the updated trail names or about the dog waste campaign?
Dog waste, dog
Dog
waste.
waste.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It might, I mean, just for the record, it might have a little blurb. Oh, we have to talk about that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, this isn't like some detailed thing. I just didn't catch.
Dog waste.
I was
It's
typing other.
nothing. It's the
Yeah,
outreach
okay.
thing. Yeah.
And then the other question was, like, when you have, I don't remember which date you are targeting for kind of the big poop fairy sign event at Breakneck Hill. So if you know what that date is and would like to share it again. And then the other question was, were you wanting like Cub Scout help? Because it's not the kind of thing that, it's hard to arrange schedules.
Right. And I think you had made the comment that it might be, the conversation itself should be adults, not really suited for Cub Scouts. And I think it depends if we want to, like, if the Cub Scouts, like, if they wanted to join us, I don't know, if you thought there was some synergy there, if they wanted to join us at the table, or if they wanted to help us flag poop, you know, are there opportunities there?
Or
If
hand out flyers.
yeah, if you, but I think
Mhm.
having troop scouts there or Cub Scouts might be a great way to like break the ice, keep it light. You know? It teaches the kids about the importance of dog waste and also shows them and models for them how adults have conversations about topics. And I don't think there's going to ever be a rough topic, but it could be that, or they could maybe walk around the trails and hand out flyers or something. I don't know. If you think there's a good synergy and you want to make that happen, let's not make this harder than it is. If you think that's a really trying, difficult month because April's hard, then skip it.
Do kids?
So do you know what the date is that you're targeting?
No, we haven't. We can talk about it in our March meeting, but we don't know yet.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about before we move on, but do kids pick up dog waste when the dogs poop?
Do kids?
When families are walking their dogs, do kids ever pick up the dog poop?
I don't know. I mean, I don't see kids walking dogs actually a lot. It's usually the adults, so I don't know.
With the family walk? Okay, so never mind that. I just think they could go out with their little bags, you know, walking a dog would be cute, but then poops and the parents would have to pick it up. So just never mind.
And like, and then as far as like the dowels with the poop fairy signs, are they going to go? They're not going to really go in a blob of poop. Like they could be in the ground next to it.
Yeah, yeah. No one wants to use a dowel after it's been touched by poop.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, well, we're going to be away 2 weekends in April. So I'm just trying.
Can I tell you when the Earth Day is?
Well, isn't it Saturday the 30th?
Friday?
Huh?
No. I don't know when they're celebrating it, but Earth Day is always on the 22nd.
Oh yeah, they usually celebrate it on the weekend after Earth Day. So I wonder if it would be the 23rd or the 24th this year. And who's in charge of setting the Earth Day date celebration for?
So we typically, the Rotary Club, and this is what I want to talk about. The Rotary Club organizes with DPW the cleanup.
Yeah, we want to
on
stay
a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I can double check with them because I'm in touch with their president, and it's not easy to get in touch with people there. So, because it's on my list, why I'm saying I can do that, because this goes into the topic of 2 years ago, the Open Space Commission, if you recall, we were talking about having Planet Palooza, a week-long celebration of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And then we haven't done it. And the Open Space Commission is talking about doing it again. And we'd like to get multiple events throughout a week-long time period. So if Stewardship is doing this, is Trails doing something too?
So
Trails.
on Earth Day, when in the past we've partnered or we've joined the DPW Rotary as sponsors for their trash pickup and offered an alternative to walking on roads to doing trailhead cleanup. So we may or may not do that again this year. I think it's a great initiative. But I think with this program, we were thinking, because we had money in the budget for a guided hike of sorts, and not wanting to be on the same day, because I don't think you were going to get good people to do both things. It could just be near or around that time, but part of the celebration of Earth Day, to then have, a guided hike with, and we were going to highlight the forest, and then, part of the deal was if we paid for someone with, some skills that could talk about,
Was that in your grant?
yeah, $150.
So the trail walk could be separate from the poop outreach, the dog waste.
Yeah.
And then we have the new signage. Do you want to do both of those for this Planet Palooza? We have a whole week, so we could do it bookend weekends.
Yeah.
And I'll make
We
sure
can do
which weekend Rotary's doing it.
Yeah, and we stay away from that weekend, right?
What weekend?
The weekend the Rotary's doing, so we don't want to do anything on the day that the Rotary's doing the trash pickup.
But
because
you could do it on a
people-
Sunday.
Right, we what? Don't do it on a Sunday?
You can't do it on a Sunday?
Oh, we could. Is that what you're saying, is focus on Sunday maybe?
Well, so let me try to put my words together. The cleanup is, I think, always on a Saturday.
Yes.
And that would most likely be the 24th if the I threw the date, the 23rd out. 22nd is a Friday, and that's
Yes.
always, I just looked this up. So I think that's the Earth Day.
It is.
And the Open Space Commission was planning on the 15th, which is tax day. So the weekend of the 16th, 17th, that whole week, and through the 23rd and 24th would be the, bookend the 2 weekends.
Okay.
So if you do something on the weekend before, because it's the Earth Day week, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's the dog waste, which would be a Saturday.
So sorry, can I just interrupt really quickly?
Yeah.
That's April vacation week. So there's going to be a lot fewer people around.
Which
I
week?
mean, so
Okay,
the
so we can switch
18th
it out.
is
Good
Patriots Day.
info.
What?
So the week of the 18th, 19th, 20th is,
The 18th to the
Vacation?
22nd is school vacation week
Oh,
or April break week, whatever it's called.
okay,
Yeah.
so we'll just do it, we'll swing it around from the 22nd, which is Earth Day.
do the next
That
week.
weekend's not gonna be real popular because people will still be away. But
Yeah.
do it through the 30th.
Yeah.
So that gives you, oh, we could do something on May Day.
Is May Day first day?
That's
What?
Sunday.
It's May 1st, it's a Sunday.
And I actually really like that because, and I don't want to get too complicated, but last year we partnered with the Southborough Youth and Family Services to help highlight May as Mental Health Awareness Month, and that was through guided hikes. And so look at the synergy here. We could do a guided hike as part of a, awareness thing, but not to get confused objectives. But I
But
like
you only
that.
need to use that Sunday
Mhm.
if the Saturday, the 30th isn't good. But you need to use one Sunday, either if they're doing the 23rd, which is likely because they're not going to care about, they may or may not care about school vacation. I'll find out tomorrow, but if they're doing it on the if they're doing the town pickup on the 23rd, that gives you Sunday, the 24th, Saturday, the 30th, and Sunday, the 1st.
Yeah, and that gives us more time to get those signs printed, because I have to make sure the sign guy can produce signs and we install them some secret sort of way.
So
without
tentatively, the dog waste would be a better outreach on a Saturday. And then the guided trail hike on a Sunday if we had to.
All right, so you're saying leaning towards the April 30, May 1 weekend, assuming Rotary is doing the cleanup on the 23rd?
Yes,
Okay.
but is that too much, 2 days in a row, or would we be better doing the 24th for the guided hike?
Well, were we doing it? I didn't think we had to do the stewardship Breakneck Hill awareness at the same weekend. I didn't think it had to be in the same weekend. I thought it could be any time in April, for example.
I thought maybe I misunderstood. I thought that was done by the 30th and it was the Earth Day celebration.
I wasn't thinking that we would, I mean, it's tied into it, but I didn't think that the actual walking of Breakneck Hill had to be done that same week, right? I thought it would actually happen sometime in April at a date we chose, right, as part of the campaign. I mean, we could do
So
that.
okay, so it's not part of the Earth Day.
Well,
you
it
have to
is in the
trail
sense
walk.
of,
It's part of the buildup, right?
yeah,
It's
that's what I was
part of the
thinking.
campaign and the buildup, but it doesn't have to be the culmination.
Right, but if you, yeah, I guess I hadn't been thinking about it. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't know if we want 2 events back to back, because I don't,
Yeah, I didn't think so, but, well,
yeah, I don't.
I don't know that you do, but the Open Space Preservation Commission wants a week full of jam-packed of activities, or maybe make it the whole month.
Every day is Earth Day.
Yeah. All right, we can come back to that.
Okay,
I'll
that's
find out from the Rotary, and then that's clear. You can do the dog waste whenever your signs are ready.
yeah.
Freddie, can you text me when you find out, from the Rotary, the date?
Yeah.
And then, I wouldn't reach out to someone until I can say, we're looking at this weekend,
For which thing?
the Cub Scout, the pack leader,
But what do you want the Cub Scouts for? We don't know.
to help give out flyers at the dog waste campaign
But we're not
potentially.
doing it. It's not tied to Earth Day anymore, from what Kat just said. Anytime in April, she said.
I thought you said I thought she said just the guided hike doesn't have to be. I thought you said you did want to do.
I think the reverse, Jenny. I think the guided hike would be nice to have around and in the celebration of Earth Day, and the dog waste pickup could be anytime within.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
also flexible. So if we have set the seed here tonight and want to and we come back and feel like there's a good plan, we can do whatever we think is best.
I'll let you know as soon as I find out when they're planning Earth Day pickup.
Okay.
And then I'm happy to have as much as possible. I'm going to mention when we get the date, I'll know more. Okay. I think that was it.
Yeah,
Oh, I have something else.
okay.
So on the Mass Land listserv, somebody was looking for a big map made, and then somebody recommended somebody, and I just emailed her right away. She's an artist. Have you ever seen those artwork maps of a property with features and trails?
I can imagine. That sounds wonderful.
And you know how we have a big blank kiosk?
Yeah,
How cool would that be?
amazing.
So I'm talking to her on Wednesday. I said, what's your pricing? It depends on the size and the level of detail, but I think it's something we should spring for if we could get, and then you could use that as a brochure as well. And if anyone who can, if I text somebody, can you go to her website? Or maybe I could, I just don't do well sharing screens. Do you want to see what it looks like, or do you not?
Oh
care?
yeah, I see what you're saying. I can share and go to a website. What's the website?
I don't know. Oh,
What's her
that's
name?
bad.
What's her first name?
I don't know anything.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I can't help. I didn't know.
I'm sorry. I thought I would, like,
It's
I
okay.
started to talk about this, like, I must have, so I sent her an email. That's a clue. Gee whiz, what email would I've used though? I'm sorry. Can you talk about something else? And when we get back to it,
Sure. But the next thing up on the agenda is Breakneck Hill management and tree work. Any updates there? Obviously, the snow, we're all aware we didn't finish the mow. We're all aware we're expecting snow, so it's not gonna be mowed soon.
yeah, there's a lot going on there. I might have to, I think her name was Claire. That could help. Artistic maps. Oh, that's good. So for Breakneck Hill, another thing came up. I just wanted to touch base with you. We have an invasive problem with the buttercup, and that's near the front pasture. The meadow that we prepped and put in with Dr. Gugier's plants for the ecology research meadow didn't work as well as we had hoped. And I'm still working on it. As a matter of fact, before this meeting, that's why I was late. I was trying to get out there before the snow and put seeds down, and I froze my little fingers off because I used a metal rake and the handle was awfully cold. And it was too slippery with my mittens on. So I used all the leftover bulk seed from this seed winter sow to put down in that meadow. So it's not a complete loss, but anyhow, I brought out this guy who's giving me some pro bono help, who works with, who Larry Weiner recommended, and Nick, and he's in Ashland, and he thought a better place for it would be along the front meadow, the front the meadow along the road and the trail, because the topography, one of the problems with that other one is it's very rocky and it's at the base of a hill where we put the first meadow in. And the reason that site was chosen is because it was near water. It was going to be the ecology garden before we put it where it is now. So anyhow, Nick has talked, he thought that would be a really good, it's about half an acre, and it would be combined with getting rid of the invasives, going a little bit further, and then planting a lot of Dr. G. Gears and others. It would give a really good visual attraction for having a wildflower meadow there, which is all either, if it's not invasives, a lot of it is non-native grasses. So I just wanted to let you know if that was something I should continue investigating. And one of the reasons for doing this is what becomes increasingly clear, not just at Breakneck Hill, but statewide, everywhere. All of our conservation land that's set aside is not great habitat. Everyone, you know, just in the past, we used to think, oh, you put a trail in, you're done. Then we found out about invasives. Well, you get rid of the invasives, you're still, the majority of the vegetation at Breakneck Hill meadows, I shouldn't say the majority, but I don't have an exact number. In my mind, most of it is still non-native foraging or ag weeds. You know, just like all of the, a lot of the wildflowers, it's all non-native. And it's not just going to magically spread from the ecology research garden to the rest of the property. So this is one way to start that process.
So Freddie, you said you just spread seeds and you did that at the meadow location that hasn't really worked out as we hoped. So now the effort, refocusing the effort between Breakneck Hill and along that roadside between like the two parking lots and community gardens. That's what you mean, right? That stretch up until.
Yeah. With people walking by, seeing it, and from the road, you'd see it.
I love that idea for those very reasons. I think I think it would be like additional eye candy on an already beautiful vista.
Yeah, and how this came out is I asked Nick to come take a look at, you know, the meadow at, it was going to be the ecology research meadow. And he came and he took a look, and I was a little late, or he got there a little early, take your pick. And he was walking around when I got there, and it was because he also didn't think it was the best place for a meadow. And if you look at the topography, there's like, you know, nobody told me this at the beginning, like where else, what do we have as rocky areas, but it really is pretty rocky. So managing it becomes more challenging. So, but I'm not giving up on it completely, but he just didn't feel that it was worth the value to sink more money into it. And he thought we could really do well. He picked that, you know, he came to me and said, how about if you did it here? And he measured it, he already put time into it. So he thinks it would be a really powerful place.
So what would be the next steps with him?
Would be for me to talk to him again. And I think I have a scheduled talk sometime next week, maybe. And to see about doing that. And then it's also would coincide with some of that removal of the buttercup, which
Buttercup.
is becoming it's like a mat. It's bad.
And that's like, I can think of the buttercup infestation sort of where the beehives used to be, like back in there. Isn't there some up there?
I picture the beehives being near Ecology on the other side of the in the
Yeah,
west.
I thought there was some buttercup up there.
Oh, there's some, well, no. The buttercup is, we have several large patches and we'll have to see how they manage. But anyhow, if you guys are okay with that, I mean, so it's a 3-year plan to do this. So the finances would be spread over the 3 years, and I think it would fit in our, within what we have. And the benefit of using Nick, he's very busy, but he lives in Ashland, so he's nearby. The trouble with Chris Paladin is every time they come out, they're coming out from Western Mass. So this is something like he could just, if there was something to be done, he can swing by on his way home from work or, aside from doing the job. But if something comes up, which is, the problem with Chris is who did the meadow for us. And I think we missed some, it was just a challenging year this last year. But is there any other stewards who have an opinion? Comment?
I think it sounds good to talk to him more and find out more.
Like, what more are you looking for?
Well, like, do we have an idea on cost or like methods or?
Well, it's a year of soil prep like we have to do.
Mhm.
And then seeding, and then the second year of, with a meadow, what you have to do is you have to put a plant community in that's going to fill all the niches, right? And so it's not just different plants have, like, there's some plants that come in and they're short-lived plants and you want those at the beginning because they're space holders. It's all about the niches, and you want to fill those while the other ones are getting established. But while that's going on, you also have to mow consistently in the first years, so that the first year early throughout the season, so that you're cutting back any of the existing weed pressure, which is humongous. That's Breakneck Hill. And then that allows the roots and then the longer lived plants of the desirable plants to get more established. So it's like maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I'll get the exact countdown of how often you have to, like, I think I don't know what kind of a cutter they come out with. I've also heard of a string or something like that cutter. But the other issue he brought up is if it rains, I mean, if it's a drought, you may want to water. And then I don't know how that would work or not. And then there's always just taking your chances that you don't get a drought year, or, you can bring water in. I don't know that the hoses from, I mean, that could be an added expense if we had a drought. But, there's some things you can't quite count on. But I can try to get those numbers from him. The point for me is if we can afford it. I mean, we have this conservation land that's, I have, become aware that all across the region, we have conservation land that's not providing conservation value at the level we all think it is, because because of our past historical use of the land. And what we thought would happen is, like when we did and this was maybe before you were on, but when we did the bittersweet treatment after, and it looked like a bomb went off. It was very, very
It
upsetting.
was a wasteland.
It was very upsetting, even though we knew and we'd done our research and we'd been told it was okay. And Jeff Collins from Mass Audubon, was our consultant, and he kind of, said, Freddie, just, I go, what are we going to plant? And he goes, don't worry, Mother Nature will fill in. We didn't know back then what we didn't know. Even he didn't, right? Because what Mother Nature filled in was non-native plants because of the seed base. And what they're saying now is even was it 100 years after your agricultural use, you're nowhere near what the plant community should be. And the conferences I've been just going to, which we try to be positive about it. Who just threw that up? Who did that?
How'd you get that fast?
Fingertips.
Who did
Yeah.
that?
I
Yeah,
remember that. I remember when it looked that way. It was like walking tunnels on the trails. The trails were like tunnels.
it was unbelievable. And but when you take that out, there was this and now NRCS, they didn't used to fund planting afterwards, right? So we missed a window of at least helping to introduce some better plant material, because it was a lot of dirt. You still had the weed seeds there, but this has a lot to do with not just it's not about bringing native plants in to be bringing native plants in. It's about helping with survival of some of the statistics I heard today just make you want to cry what we're losing. And you need the native plants. And I think using a predominant mixture of Dr. Jagir's plants for the pollinators is critical. Other plants are critical. What Nick will bring to this is that he's more aware of plant communities. Dr. Jagir knows his research and he wants his plants. Nick knows plant communities, and Rob paid for the seeding of the seeds at Breakneck Hill last year. And, it might have been one of the reasons it wasn't as successful as it could have been, because we didn't have the full suite of the plant communities. But Nick has been doing this for over 20 years. He's also, been looking at things and, measuring, he took out that roller thing to measure the area, and he's offering some of his work pro bono because it's a public project, and I'm good at that. No, he likes the area, and so anyhow, I think there's great value in doing this.
Yeah, I think it sounds good.
And it will be pretty.
Oh, I know. I'm excited about it.
But it doesn't happen right away. And he's also given me great knowledge for other recommendations we have to make at other projects for metal installations. Because this is all new, So, all right, so I'll move forward with some more information.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And what are we looking for?
Maybe some details, like, I don't know, like a general scope of, general activities that would happen each year. I mean, I don't know if it's at that phase yet, or.
Yeah, it could be. I always like to take it year by year,
That sounds good.
because you do one thing in the first year and you budget for it, and that seems to work better on some projects. The other thing we have to do, which is different than this project, but still have to follow up on getting the buckthorn out on the back side of and I just, complete inability to get contractors last year. You heard Isabel even, she had to get someone from New Hampshire. It was really hard. Have to reconnect with Twin Pines, you know, find out who can do our mow, if they're even doing it anymore. And we need trees down. So all of that work that we have funding that's got to be spent for the invasive work. And there was a bit of a fail last year that we didn't get, that to my knowledge, we haven't been billed for, with some work on the autumn olive didn't happen. So we have a couple of new pretty big invasive problems there. So that all has to be worked on this month. See if we can come up with a scheme or when we're going to mow. And then at this workshop today, I was at, Dan Jaffe was talking, and his whole perspective, because he's not dealing with grassland birds, is mowing at a, you know, we're talking spring mowing, and Chris Politan was talking about that, and that can be better for some of the plants and for the insects.
Oh,
Because remember, every time I said, like, when I talked to Chris, no, when I talked with Jeff Collins and then Dr. G. Gear, and it was like totally conflicting management plans, and that's what we've done, you know, segmenting it out. But it's very confusing because, you know, we're trying to treat nature with man-known techniques for the betterment of that nature, but it's hard. And the, you know, with climate change and everything else, the news isn't good, and I think we're being proactive and trying to use the best we can. Came up again today, grassland birds, the #1 species disappearing from the planet. So, you know, we're doing our part, and I'd like to think that we're continuing on, you know, working. Oh, and I don't know if everyone here heard Dr. G. Gear's students, grad students, some of their research on butterflies. We have 3 at-risk butterflies at Breakneck Hill, and he's putting together the documentation of that, and hopefully we'll have some information on that. So, you know, we're doing, oh, I told you that, right? Santa's an okay plant. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. Anyhow, I hope to have more data on that. So it's like, I think we have a lot to be proud of, and that it's like, but the job's not done. And I think this meadow could be the next step to start helping out a little bit more. And then, yes, I did dump the rest of the seeds on that meadow, because I figured it can't hurt, and it's better than them sitting in my car.
yeah, well, I agree.
And I thought it was a perfect time just before it got dark, so the birds wouldn't be out. And then it will snow, so they won't get the seeds. But of course, all the moles and voles or whatever.
Well, they
Lot
can't
of-
eat all of them. Some of and some of them they'll poop out anyway, and they'll get planted.
But these were so tiny. But then the other thing is, a lot of, and this I saw last year, and maybe there were more natives that worked there. It was a heavily deer trafficked, deer poop and deer hoof prints. And I think they like to eat the native plants the most.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think they've been browsing there. So then I think some native plants from the sow did work, because remember I told you I was on the, you know, the trail, and there were 2 deer in that little area eating. And I looked over at them and they just wouldn't move. They, you know, they were just there. Really had to get very close before they left. So I'm like, I think that's their new salad bar. So that's
They
another.
certainly like the things in the salad bar that I've planted them.
Yeah. So anyhow, I think that was it.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to get the name of this thing. If somebody wants to try to bring this up. I'm sorry, I was looking and then I started talking.
I'm ready.
Gee whiz. I had to Google it. Claire. C-L-A-I-R-E. Dacey, D-A-C-E-Y. Artist. I don't know how I found her. Does anyone get anything from that?
Yes. Just as a side note, you're talking about deer prints. This is the largest moose print I've ever seen. This is a boot of a person, and this is a moose print
What's the boost?
White.
Where's the person?
over here.
Oh,
It's a moose.
That's a moose footprint
where did you
Wow.
see that?
in the whites.
You have to be careful. Did you hear about the people who were, yeah, this is her. Did you hear about the people who were dog sledding and got attacked by a moose? They had to be airlifted out. It was awful. Anyhow, let's see. Art gallery, hit art gallery up top. Keep going over. Yeah,
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
but that's not it. Keep going down. Go down. You're almost there.
Oh.
Click on one of those.
oh, okay. Sorry, I was getting distracted by all the good stuff. Oh, wow. This is perfect. So perfect.
So we could get some, so then if we got, I think what happened, what I heard is I don't know how to say it, Opacum Woods. They got, I think she did the artwork, but then they used it on brochures. Wasn't there another one with a brochure? X out of there.
Hang on, I gotta move the controls or they're my way.
No, just another one.
Oh, this little guy right here.
Yeah, see, that's a brochure, but you could have you could have the whole map.
Mhm.
So these are different places. I just think, I mean, is it interesting enough? It's not, it's kind of,
It's perfect, Freddie.
You
It's
like
bringing
it or
art
not?
to the trails. Are you kidding me? This is the best way to do this. I think it's wonderful.
so she said, I mean, I don't know if we could get someone else to do it, but I have a call. I arranged for a phone call, I think Monday morning, just to talk a little bit about what it would take. She said, depending on how much detail and the size and the trails, it's between, typically gets $500 to $1,000.
I mean, it will last forever, right?
Well, if we could get I'm thinking of something big that's, like really big and attached to the kiosk, not taking the whole kiosk up, but
We can laminate it, right? Or does, I don't know.
yeah,
how
and I
it-
don't know how big, I mean, all of that, I don't know what she does, right? Do we just get the PD, not a PDF, but do we just get a file or does she actually create a piece of art?
Oh,
I
right.
don't know any of this,
Okay, good point.
but somebody used her and recommended her and liked her and
And she's local to Southbridge area. Where is she from?
no,
East Hampton, it looks like.
yeah,
East Hampton, what state? Sorry. I
it's
don't-
Massachusetts.
That's Massachusetts.
It's
Okay,
up by
so
Hamlet.
supporting a local artist, another good.
I mean, that was the one that came up on, somebody asked a question on Mass Land and somebody highly recommended her, so.
Mm.
And then the rest of her stuff, and then, she could come out and play some music for us. We could,
Oh, it could be like a trailhead opening. So like here's the kiosk and I love that idea.
go see what she does for music. Oh, do you know who she is? Like, there's this other woman I had heard of, that does the storytelling and singing and,
May I?
yeah.
She's at Unitarian Church.
Lord, make my life song. Let its melody ring out sweet and low.
I think the
Lord, through this world.
connection's not great, right?
What was that?
The connection's not great, right?
Oh, you can't hear it?
No, I can hear it, but it's a little choppy. I think that's not her. but
Oh, okay. I think she's great. Could you imagine having a little concert at Breakneck Hill, an acoustic artist? That's just fucking brilliant.
Well, it's something we can think about. What do you think, guys? But I'll get you more information on after I send her stuff. Like, I'd love to have it with the community gardens, Wildflower Hill, the quarries.
Oh, yeah, think of the features
ecology
that could
research card
be.
and the summit.
Mhm.
And then,
Ooh, you could have a garden tour of the Beecology when it's in full bloom and have her playing in the little, between the gardens and the Beecology, and you can serve beverages, and maybe you could ask for donations or not, but.
and then the full moon comes up and then, yeah, so I mean, we can, I'll ask more about the, who do I know that recommended her? Somebody else. Anyhow, all right, so I think it was a good find. And I just emailed her right away because why wait? And because I also had like 3 other deadlines didn't have time to do anything else on. I'm most productive then. You know it, Kat, right?
I know.
So, all right.
Yeah,
I think that was it.
That's one big cat.
Yeah, she's fluffy, but she's also big.
Oh my
I
God.
try to cover it up with her fluffiness, but she's bigger. Yeah, she's it's her. I've been in a meeting too long now.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for
So-
your time tonight, though. I appreciate it.
we have been through the whole agenda. Does someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And all in favor?
We need a second.
Oh, I
I need
need,
a second.
Freddie seconded. So Jenny,
In favor.
Kat,
In favor.
Freddie,
In favor.
and
Um,
I'm in favor. So the motion passes and the meeting is adjourned
I
at
thought I wanted to make another statement.
9:55. So we can, oh, do you want to stay meeting or after?
No, well, the meeting's over. We already adjourned. I just
Okay,
wanted
so
to
you can
thank
stop
Pat for,
recording.
I want to